Western fantasy, from the Eagle People tribe to the Angel Empire. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 1: The Eagle Tribe of Gaoman Mountain. The world of Ferland, the age of titans and dragons, the vast sea forest. The sun is high in the sky, blazing like a scorch. Alelitus, how dare you steal the power of thunder? A thunderous explosion suddenly sounded between heaven and earth. The huge roar brought Jiang You back to his senses. Before he could figure out the current situation, he saw a scene like a myth. The tall giant, who was 100 meters tall, was emitting purple lightning all over his body. He had a piece of unknown material wrapped around his waist. He held a silver spear with thunder that was enough to destroy the world. He was fighting with a blue lizard that was also 100 meters long. The earth trembled in their battle, the sky was torn apart, the forest was trampled into flat ground by them, and the strong wind wrapped an endless sand and dust vented between heaven and earth. The blue lizard was full of blue lightning, and its huge body was covered with pieces of steel like scales, which looked mighty. It was a pity that it was covered in scars and blood, and was obviously no match for the giant, but he was still unyielding, and he raised his head and roared, "Atari, when did the Titan giant become a shameless liar? The power and authority I hold are the world's gift to the Dragon Clan." The Titan giant's tall and strong body was also covered with scars, and his shining golden eyes contained a coldness. "Humph, everything in the world belongs to the Titan God clan. You dragons, if you are not thieves, what are you? You are so damned for claiming to be gods." The blue lightning dragon roared in anger and bullied again. He swung his dozens of meters long tail, and the lightning burst on it. The Titan giant laughed, holding a 100-meter long spear, and went straight. "We Titans have the power to move mountains and fill the sea, and we can turn the world upside down. Why can't we be called gods? Ridiculous." After the words fell, the two powerful beings collided again, stirring up dust all over the sky. Thunder fought against thunder, and their fight became more and more tragic. Golden blood flew in the fight, and scattered everywhere in the forest battlefield. In addition to the fight between the two most powerful beings, there were also countless races fighting for their lives in the sky and on the earth. On the ground, minotaurs swept across with trees, goblins carried backpacks and threw stone bullets, trolls wielded stone axes, stone men smashed the ground with their bodies, goat-horned men attacked with their heads, centaurs galloped across the land, snake-bodied men held wooden bows, dwarves raised stone hammers to kill enemies, and dragon-bodied men killed with their fists. In the sky, eagle-bodied men fought in groups. Two-headed flying dragons roared in the sky, flamingos burned the sky, griffins had sharp teeth and claws, and dragon eagles flapped their wings like knives. This is an epic battlefield of mythology. Just when Jiang You was shocked, a hand suddenly pushed him from behind. "Ao, what are you daydreaming about? A team of two-legged flying dragons is coming." He turned back in amazement and saw an eagle man with a human face, an eagle beak, a human body, eagle feet, covered with feathers, carrying wings, wearing simple leaves to cover his body, and holding a stone spear in his claws, shouting at him anxiously. Jiang You subconsciously looked down at himself. He was also covered by leaves, feathers, and eagle claws on his hands and feet. "I am not even a human anymore." It was strange to say that he was in danger, but he was not nervous at all. He even had time to sigh in his heart at this moment. The claws of the blue lightning dragon Alelitus scratched the shoulder of the Titan giant, and a large amount of golden blood suddenly fell in the direction of Jiang You. "It is the blood of God that cannot be touched by mortals. If you touch it, you will die. The blood of God has the power to burn. You can't look directly at it." I saw screams around, and Jiang You had to subconsciously push the eagle man behind him away. Almost the next moment, he was covered with the golden blood. "No. Ao." The eagle man who was pushed away by him fell to the ground. His eyes were bloodshot, but Jiang You could hardly hear what he said. A feeling of burning all over the body was painful all over the body. It was like being in the sun, being baked by a 100,000-degree flame. It hurt so much. Even though his will was as strong as iron, he soon fainted from the pain. In a coma, the life of the original body appeared in his mind. The original owner was named Yu, born in an eagle tribe in Gaoman Mountain. He was a small tribe under the Eagle tribe, a subordinate race of the Thunder God. Titan giant Atra. In this ancient and obscure era above the sky and the earth, Titan giants and dragons compete for the dominance of heaven and earth, and fight each other endlessly. They all have powerful powers and are called the authority to rule heaven and earth. This is a war between Titan giants and dragons, and all races are involved, and it is extremely tragic this time. He was recruited by the Thunder Titan giant Atra to participate in the war to attack the Lost Forest, the territory of the Blue Lightning Dragon Alelitis, and the person who just reminded him of the danger was his companion who grew up with him. A lie. I don't know how long it has been. Jiang You faintly heard a vague call. Ew. Ew. Wake up. Wake up. He opened his eyes with difficulty and saw himself lying in a cave. In front of him, besides his friend Eli, there were also several old eagle men from the tribe. They looked at him with the same concern, as if they were looking at their own children. Seeing him wake up, Eli was immediately surprised. Ew, you finally woke up. I thought you were dead. Where am I? What happened after I fainted? Is the war over? Jiang You asked subconsciously. It's over. After you fainted, the great thunder god Atra defeated the evil blue lightning dragon Alelitis. We won. We brought you back to Gaoman Mountain, and now we are in the tribe, Eli said quickly. How long was I unconscious? Jiang You asked again. Child, after you fainted, the sun rose and set 3 times. An old eagle man who was obviously the leader approached and smiled kindly in memory. He was indeed the patriarch of this small eagle tribe. 3 days, Jiang You murmured in a low voice. My dear child, according to ancient rumors, mortals cannot touch the blood of gods, otherwise they will be burned to death, but there are always exceptions. Mortals must die, and those favored by gods can be reborn. You survived, bathing in the blood of gods. You are a person favored by gods. Several old eagle men looked at him and said excitedly. Then, the old eagle tribe leader said to him solemnly, we have decided that from today on, you will be the tribe leader of the Gaoman Mountain Eagle tribe, chief. Jiang You was surprised. I am old. But you are like the rising sun, and you will surely lead the tribe to a bright future. The old tribe leader smiled firmly. Don't refuse, you. There is a clear spring outside the cave. You can go and see what you look like now. The divine blood has given you power and change. You have all the conditions to become a tribe leader. Hearing this, Jiang You looked outside the cave. The golden sunlight shone in, and it was extremely warm at the same time. He felt his body, and a magical power filled his whole body. I have indeed become stronger. At the same time, his mind moved. A flash of thunder appeared in his hand. Although the lightning was small, it was as powerful as 1,000 pounds. Chapter 2 Patriarch. This is the power of thunder. Seeing the lightning flashing in Jiang Yu's hand, several eagle people were very excited. In this world, personal power belongs to extraordinary power. Extraordinary is authority, and extraordinary power is innate. If you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, unless there is a great opportunity. Extraordinary authority can be born. Among the myriad tribes in the wilderness, the eagle people do not have strong extraordinary power. Like the eagle tribe in Gaoman Mountain, they are all mortals. There are hundreds of thousands of eagle people living in the wilderness, and only a few of them hold extraordinary authority. They are not high in reproduction ability, far less than goblins, dwarves and trolls. It's just because they have the ability to fly that they are taken as subordinates by the titans, not even their families. Jiang You bathed in the blood of God and held the power of thunder, and the eagle people couldn't help but be happy. This is a great gift from heaven. At this moment, they are more determined to believe that Jiang You is the new tribal leader. In desperation, Jiang You had to accept it. Seeing Jiang You accept, several old eagle people finally left the cave contentedly. Before leaving, they did not forget to tell Jiang You to have a good rest. After he had a good rest, he went to the cliff to find them. After waiting for the old eagle people and Eli to leave, Jiang You played with the thunder in his hand for a while again, feeling the power of extraordinary authority. He did not understand the extraordinary system of the current world, but he also knew that his extraordinary power was very ordinary. Now with his full strength, he could only blast a pit of less than half a meter in the land in front of him. Jiang You stopped only after his extraordinary power was exhausted. He remembered that the old patriarch said that his current appearance was different from that of ordinary eagle people, and he couldn't help but become curious. He walked out of the cave and found a pool of water in front of the cave. The surrounding environment was humid, and it seemed that it had just rained. When he came to the edge of the pool, Jiang You looked at the water surface, reflecting a different eagle man. His beak has fallen off, replaced by a delicate and beautiful nose and mouth like the humans in his previous life. The gray and black hair on his face has also fallen off, showing a delicate outline on the top of his head. The originally gray hair has become silver and gray, more shiny. The most conspicuous thing is his eyes. The original vertical eyes of the eagle man have disappeared, replaced by a pair of purple eyes as bright as stars. In addition, a lot of feathers on his body have fallen off. The claws and feet are not like the eagle claws before, but have begun to have fleshy texture. This is approaching the direction of the hands and feet. The wings on his back have begun to be mixed with some white feathers from the original gray and black. These white feathers are newly grown, and they are still very fresh. He has evolved, just like his ancestors. The ancestor of the eagle man is the high mountain four-legged eagle. The Eagle Man King's court also has statues and breeding of four-legged eagles, but the Gaoman mountain eagle man is a small tribe and does not have these things. Leaving the pool, Jiang You came to the place where the tribe lives. Gaoman mountain is called a mountain, but it is just a small cliff that can be seen everywhere in the wilderness, located at the junction of grassland and forest. On this small cliff, the eagle people used stone tools to dig out caves of various sizes as their residence. In the cave, there were no adult eagle people. Only some young eagle people were left looking at him curiously. Although his current image can be seen as an eagle, he is completely different from the former Jiang You. The young eagle people are basically very thin. There are not many adult eagles in the tribe, and the titans often start wars and summon adult eagles to fight every time a wave goes. The population will be less. With these factors, living conditions naturally decline. Jiang You was touched, and he had no good way to deal with titans and dragons for the time being. Titans and dragons occupied the sky and the earth, and their strength was extremely powerful. They were not something that eagle people could fight now. Even if they wanted to hide, they couldn't unless these two powerful races suddenly died out. From his perspective, combined with the information from his original body over the years, the two tribes will definitely have a final battle, but he doesn't know when it will break out and what the result will be. Arrived at the top of the cliff, he saw the old patriarch standing on the blue stone on the top of the cliff, saying something loudly. About 200 eaglemen, young and old, stood on the cliff, listening to the old patriarch's words. Weakly, the small tribe of 200 people, mostly old and young, and few young and strong, was considered to be in ruins. Years of war have exhausted the vitality of the tribal. I was also among the eaglemen. He saw Jiang You appear with his sharp eyes and said happily, "Ayo, have you rested well?" Jiang You smiled slightly. Of course. The old patriarch also walked down from the blue stone and came to Jiang You. It's just right that you are here, so I will announce that you will become the new patriarch." He pulled Jiang You to the blue stone, looked at the eagleman below, and said loudly, "You bathed in the blood of the gods and remained alive. He is a person favored by the gods. From now on, you will be the new chief of the eagle tribe of Gaoman Mountain." The 200 eagle tribes had already heard about Jiang You bathing in the blood of the gods. They were surprised to see Jiang You standing on the blue stone. His appearance was different from that of ordinary eagle tribes. The sun shone on him, making his silver-gray hair and some white feathers on his back shine extremely brightly, which actually gave him a sense of holiness like the Holy Spirit. Especially those brilliant purple eyes, which were beautiful and added a touch of mystery to him. You was really different. They all raised their heads, admired sincerely, and acknowledged Jiang You as the new patriarch. Jiang You stood on the blue stone, looking at the expectation in the eyes of the 200 eaglemen, and suddenly felt a sense of blood connection. These eaglemen are all his blood relatives. So, for the first time, he felt a sense of belonging to this world and this eagle tribe. He looked at the sun in the distance, and suddenly a thought came to his mind. Since I have come, I will make peace with it. Since I have come to this world, I will lead them to live well. I will do this as the patriarch. Under the golden sun, Jiang You stood on the cliff, stretched out his hand forward, and held it tightly. A ray of thunder flashed with purple lightning amid the exclamations of the tribesmen. "My tribesmen, from today on, I will lead you. I promise that our Gaoman Mountain Eagle clan will have a bright future." You. The extraordinary authority was very convincing, and all the eaglemen present cheered happily. It was sunset after the small clan meeting. Jiang You stood on the edge of the cliff, looking at the sunset in the distance, and then looked at his tribesmen. Under the sunset, the eaglemen were either training their children to fly, or grinding stone tools, or patrolling Gaoman Mountain. He looked at the leaves woven from the eaglemen and their thin bodies. He had the first idea to change the tribe to become a clan leader. One should start with food and clothing. As for food, he is now much stronger, and he can lead the tribesmen out hunting. As for clothing, the eaglemen basically weave a circle of leaves because they have feathers to cover them. But Jiang You didn't like this. Clothes are also an important part of the birth of a civilization. He decided to let the tribesmen make animal skin clothes to wear. The eaglemen make a living by hunting, and animal skins are basically taken to the goblin or dwarf tribe in exchange for food. If he wants everyone to wear clothes, he must ensure enough food. 1 month later, Jiang You personally led the team to hunt every day. Because of the power of thunder, They could hunt more powerful prey. The eaglemen of the tribe all wore animal skins, and enough meat changed the appearance of the entire eagle tribe. This day Jiang You led the eagle hunting team to go hunting as usual on the vast grassland. They chased a group of wild buffaloes to a place where green rocks were exposed. Chapter 3 Bronze. The eagle people live in the mountains, and they like cliffs very much. They use stone tools to dig caves around the top of the mountain to live. Gaoman Mountain is just a small mountain that is very common in the ancient Ferland world. The eagle people's royal court, as rumored, lives on a tall mountain called Ascension. It is a huge and magnificent mountain, where tens of thousands of eagle people live. It is the ancestral home of the eagle people, and the eagle people of the Gaoman mountain tribe also come from here. After Jiang You became the patriarch of the Gaoman mountain tribe, he began to transform the living environment of the eagle people. Although the stone cave is safe, after many generations of eagle people living there, the smell inside is very unbearable, and hygiene has always been a problem. The first year he sharpened a stone axe, cut down trees, and led the tribesmen to build dozens of wooden houses and wooden beds in a year, which became a new residence. The original cave with a wooden door is an excellent storage place. The eagle man's wooden house has 2 doors, one on the roof and one near the cliff, which is convenient for travel. After building the wooden house, he called the tribesmen together and dug a pit in the center of the tribe to make a pool for drinking water. Jiang You arranged for the tribesmen to fetch water every day. Then, he surrounded the wooden houses with wooden walls, and a small village was formed. The wooden house village may be less safe than the cave, but Jiang You looked at the village in front of him and felt a breath of civilization in the wilderness for the first time so far. He felt at ease. The second winter Jiang You led the eagle boys to find and kill several hibernating black bears in the whispering forest. During the heavy snow in winter his strength and skills grew, and he also changed into bearskin clothes. Very warm. The third year Jiang You found a demon beast in the east of the whispering forest. Fortunately, this demon beast is a deer demon beast. Although this demon beast is strong, its temperament is gentle. It has always stayed in its own territory, which made Jiang You and others feel relieved, but his desire to obtain extraordinary power has become stronger. The fourth year when Jiang You led the hunting team out hunting, he chased the bison and flew 3,000 meters to the west. Here, he found an open-air copper mine. This surprised him inexplicably. Copper, this is something that can allow them to move from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age. If there are copper tools, the strength of the Gaoman tribe can be greatly improved. But soon, a patrol eagle boy flew from farther away and told him that there was a snake tribe here. The snake tribe is also a subsidiary race of the Titan giants. However, they have been fighting with the eagle tribe for generations, and their living areas are intertwined. They have been natural enemies since ancient times. In ancient times, when the four-legged eagles had not yet evolved into eagle people, they often captured the two-legged snakes, the ancestors of the snake people, for food. But when they almost simultaneously accepted the gift of the Titans and evolved into intelligent races, the suppression of the eagle people on the snake people disappeared. The snake people have stronger reproductive capacity and are good at using bows and arrows, although the eagle people have the advantage of flying. Their eagle claws are too sharp and do not support their archery. Otherwise, a soldier who can shoot arrows in the sky, even if it is just an ordinary mortal without extraordinary power, has a great advantage. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Yu's desire for copper overcame his worries about the snake people tribe. He asked in a deep voice, "Liang, how many snake people are there in that snake people tribe? Are there any extraordinary snake people?" "Chief, I didn't look carefully." Liang touched his head in embarrassment. "It's okay, let's take another look." Jiang Yu did not blame them. After all, it is difficult for eagle people teenagers to have such awareness. It is already very good to be able to discover the snake people tribe. He took a team of eagle people teenagers into the air, and after flying for a few miles, he really found a small snake people tribe beside a small river. Jiang Yu hovered in the sky and observed, and found that this small tribe was actually in a similar situation to theirs. Years of war had exhausted their vitality, and the tribe was basically composed of the elderly, the weak, women and children. That's right, the snake people's survival ability on the battlefield is even worse than that of the eagle people, and they are cannon fodder among cannon fodder. However, the number of snake people in this tribe is larger than that of the eagle people in Gaoman Mountain. With about 300 snake people surviving, Jiang Yu made a decisive decision to wipe out this snake tribe. So that night Jiang Yu led the combatants in the eagle tribe and destroyed this small snake tribe. While they were sleeping at night, then, they mined copper and smelted bronze. Jiang Yu knew some of the simplest copper smelting methods in ancient times in his previous life. After trying several times, he successfully refined bronze. The fifth year, after a year of accumulation, almost all the eagle people who can fight in the tribe have a bronze ware. With bronze ware, They can hunt larger and more ferocious prey, even some weak monsters. Jiang You and others dared to test them. The tribesmen mostly used bronze spears, and Jiang You cast a bronze sword. The sixth year the tribe's bronze reserves increased, and Jiang You used the extra bronze to cast a large bronze tripod. Thus, food can be cooked in the tripod all the time. Then, some bronze utensils were also made: bowls, basins, pots, spoons, etc. Until this time, Jiang You could announce that the Gaoman tribe had left the Stone Age and entered the Bronze Age. They are more civilized than most races in the Ferland world. The seventh year Jiang You is 16 years old, and he is considered an adult among the eagle people. His body has become more upright and agile, and his wings are more tenacious and powerful this year. In order to face the upcoming war, Jiang You began to cast bronze armor. Because eagle people have wings, it is difficult to cover their backs with armor, and in order to maintain light flight, the armor should not be too heavy. Jiang You only cast armor plates on his chest, arms, and head for self-defense. This simple bronze armor was made into more than a dozen sets, worn by Jiang You and the strongest eagle people in the tribe. They are all partners who grew up with Jiang You and are connected by brothers. As time goes by this autumn, when the golden autumn leaves are flying, the envoy of the Eagle King's court arrived as expected. Chapter 4. A decade-long expedition. The sky is high and the clouds are clear, and the mood of autumn is strong. On the cliff of Gaoman Mountain, the eagle messenger with gray and black wings fluttered in the air, holding a 2-meter-long bone spear. And looking down proudly, he glanced at the Yingren population of the Gaoman Mountain tribe, looked at this group of weak tribesmen. A trace of disdain flashed in his eyes, and then announced loudly, "Gaoman Mountain tribe, there is an order from the royal court. Recruit 50 Yangmen warriors. Within 3 days, rush to the Hanhe forest to obey the order of the god of thunder." The familiar recruitment order resounded throughout the entire cliff. Wang Ting must have really looked down on small tribes like Gaoman Mountain. After decades, he was unwilling to change even a single word in the content of the recruitment order. It's hard to say, but this is the joint recruitment of all the small eagle tribes outside the royal court in the vast mountains. But 50 people is still too many. The current Yingren tribe only has about 200 people, including newly born babies, and there are only more than 30 adult male Yingren of Jiang Yu's generation at this moment. Jiang You finally understood the sadness and powerlessness that Ying's father had felt back then. That sentence, "My son wants to grow up healthy," must have been uttered in such a desolate situation on the cliff. All the eagle men bowed their heads. Jiang You stood at the front, clenching his paws, suppressing the anger in his heart, taking a deep breath, and begging like his father, "Sir Messenger, you have also seen that it is really difficult for our tribe to gather 50 Yangmen warriors now. Can you please be more lenient? I am willing to lead all adult male Yangmen to fight against the god of thunder and the royal court, HMPH. How can the royal court's edict be bargained for?" The eagle messenger with gray and black wings snorted coldly and said in a cold voice, "It is a gift from the royal court that this small tribe, which is as ordinary as grass and mustard, can survive here and be under the protection of the royal court." As he spoke, he looked at Jiang Yu's clenched paws and the eyes that were looking straight at him, feeling murderous in his heart. Small tribes like Gaoman Mountain are like weeds on the grassland. They die and grow again and again. Even if they are exterminated, there will be no impact. It's a matter of time. The royal court never cared about their life or death with murderous intention. The eagle messenger's eyes narrowed, and the breeze between heaven and earth blew. This turned out to be extraordinary power, the power of wind. Jiang You, who was standing in front of the cliff, suddenly felt a chill in his heart, and his whole body was agitated. He quickly lowered his head and said loudly, "Lord Messenger, Gaoman Mountain is willing to obey the call-up order." The world between heaven and earth suddenly became quiet for a few breaths, and the only thing that could be seen was the rising wind on the cliff. Jiang You was always on alert, ready to explode. A long time in midair, the cold-faced eagle messenger finally did not make a move. He gave a cold shout and fluttered his wings away. 50 people. Within 3 days, remember, if one person is missing, your clan will be wiped out. 1 day later, on the cliff, Jiang You was furious when he heard this. "Damn it, sooner or later you will rebel against your bullshit Yingren Wangting." When the Yingren messenger left, the tribesmen lamented one after another. "When will this war end? When will these days really get better? We are too weak, our fathers will never come back, and we are afraid that we will follow in their footsteps." Jiang You looked at the sad faces of the tribesmen and immediately stood up and said loudly, "Please believe me, people, I will definitely bring everyone back this time. If I can't come back, I will die in front of everyone." In addition, for the quota of 50 people, we also invite the adult sisters in the clan to accompany us on the expedition. The boys who are not yet underage should stay in the tribe. Yes, Patriarch, At that moment, a dozen female adult tribesmen walked out, all of them female eagles of their generation at this time. The entire Gaoman mountain tribe was really left with only the old and the weak. Jiang You sighed in his heart, looked at the youngest and oldest eagle boy among the eagle crowd, and smiled at him. Cha, after we leave, you will be the strongest male eagle in the tribe. You must lead the teenagers to protect everyone, Cha said solemnly with tears in his eyes. Well, brother you, Jiang You nodded when he heard the words, comforted his mother, then stood up and said to the hawks who were about to go on an expedition, okay, without further ado, let's go back and put on our bronze armor and pick up our weapons. We will set off for the vast sea forest in a quarter of an hour, a hawkman said doubtfully. You, isn't it within 3 days? Why are you in such a hurry? Jiang You shook his head. In the past few generations, none of our ancestors who went on expeditions returned. This time, we must first go to explore what is going on in the vast forest and be fully prepared. Bathing in the blood of titans was so shocking that he wasn't ready to say it first, but instead made a well-thought-out excuse. Of course, it's not entirely an excuse. There is some truth in saying this. Okay, we understand. Let's go back and get weapons and equipment now, and we'll set off in a quarter of an hour. The hawks nodded. They don't doubt Jiang Yu's words. Over the years, they have almost grown up with Jiang You, and their sense of trust is far better than that of ordinary people. That's it. A quarter of an hour later, 50 eagles holding bronze swords and spears were ready to go. Following Jiang Yu's order, they flew westward under the reluctant side of the old and weak eagles who were left behind. Chapter 5, The Vast Sea Forest. Traveling day and night, the sun rose and set 7 times across mountains and rivers, deep valleys and deep forests. Jiang You finally brought his tribal warriors to the Hanhe Forest. This is a vast forest, just like its name. The green is as vast as the sea. Boundless, a long river shuttles through this forest and flows into the distant sea. This is the edge of the territory ruled by the Thunder Titan Atra, bordering the territory of the ancient Blue Dragon King Alelidus. The two have fought for many years, and there has been no winner at this time. The Hanhe Forest is like a huge barracks, and all the tribes of Ferland appear here. He saw people and horses patrolling in the forest, eagle men circling in the sky, trolls camping in the jungle, dwarves riding sheep in the valley, goblins cutting down trees, mermaids living in front of the river, fishmen holding stone forks, mixed-blood giants as military supervisors, goblins and tree spirits looking up from the treetops, wild boars lying on the ground, werewolves, and so on. This is a subordinate race of the Titans, a race that has ruled half of the world since the Titans. The ancient dragons are not inferior to the Titans. Jiang You looked to the farther north of the Hanhe Forest and saw a 300-meter-high stone throne standing in the north of the forest. It was as if it was carved out of a whole mountain. A giant nearly 200 meters tall sat on it, with purple hair and golden eyes, exuding a trembling majestic aura. The majesty was like a mountain and a sea, and the huge sense of oppression made Jiang You amazed. Every moment, there were purple thunder and lightning that penetrated the sky and the earth, lingering on his strong body, like an abyss in a prison. That's the Thunder Titan, Atra. According to the 5th chapter, Titans are born legendary and can reach the realm of demigods when they grow up, and the great Titan King, even if he doesn't hold the throne, has the power comparable to that of gods. This is the Titan, the master of half of the ancient Ferland world. Feeling the majestic aura of the Titan, Jiang You became more cautious. And the pride of the traverser was buried deep in his heart. He is still immortal, not even an extraordinary one. In this world full of extraordinary power and where one can die at any time, he can only be careful flying over the airspace of the Hanhe Forest. The Eagle Man and the Horned Eagle patrolling the sky did not stop them, allowing them to land directly in the camp where the Eagle Man gathered. As soon as they landed, soldiers from the Eagle Man King's court came to them. This is a middle-aged Eagle Man, wearing a wolf skin. Although he does not have an extraordinary aura, he has the aura of a veteran. He asked lightly, "Which tribe are you from, and who is the leader?" Jiang You stood up and answered, "Elder of the royal court, I am the leader." "We are from the Gaoman mountain tribe," the middle-aged Eagleman soldier said him lightly. Obviously he had never heard of the Gaoman mountain tribe. He glanced at the bronze weapons and armor carried by Jiang You and his men, and didn't care. A small tribe of eaglemen, even with female eaglemen, what's there to care about? Come with me. The Eagleman tribe from the east is led by Lord Feng Yi. The middle-aged Eagleman soldier led them through half of the camp and came to a huge and earthy camp. The trees here were all cut down, leaving an empty field of dirt and grass. Jiang You glanced over and roughly calculated that there were about 10,000 Eagleman warriors stationed here, with gray and black wings interlaced and dotted on the ground, like a gray and black net. The middle-aged Eagleman casually pointed to a corner. "You can stay there for the time being. After saying that, he was ready to turn around and leave anyway. They were all cannon fodder who were going to die on the battlefield, so he didn't have much desire to talk. Jiang You hurriedly called him and asked sincerely, "Elder, I haven't asked for your name yet. In addition, I don't know where the camp of Lord Feng Yi is. How should we obey the military order of the Lord? This place is in a mess." The eaglemen gathered together in a mess, and they didn't know how to unify the command. Jiang You thought it would be better to figure it out. Hearing this, the middle-aged eagle soldier looked back in surprise, and the disdain in his eyes came from the heart. He said with a smile, "What qualifications do you have to obey the orders of Lord Feng Yi? Someone will come to greet you when the time comes." As he said, he pointed to an eagle camp not far away. A royal court eagle warrior holding a bone spear flew in the air and said to you, and you, take your people and follow me." The eagles who were called did not dare to resist at all. They gathered their people and followed him. There were more than a dozen of them, and only a few of them. There was numbness in the eyes of each eagle. Obviously, it was not the first time they were recruited like this. Each small tribe came here with 50 people, and the rest went there. Obviously they had already died. Jiang You saw it, and his eyes became heavy. "I understand, Elder." "Well, it's good to understand. There are some things I don't want to say too harshly. You small tribes under the protection of the king's court, listen to the orders well. Maybe, after the war, some people can go back. As for my name, you don't need to know it," the middle-aged eagle soldier said in a flat tone, pointing to the edge of another forest. "By the way, don't think about running away. Look where you see the fate of those who run away." Jiang You looked in response, and saw rows of eagle corpses inserted there, with wooden sticks entering from the mouth and exiting from the lower body, bleeding, and inserted into the soil. He could not help but remain silent, while the middle-aged eagle man laughed. "Boy, don't be so smart. Eagle men like you are nothing but ants and grass. You can only live if the king's court allows you to live, and you must die if the king's court allows you to die. Take care of yourself." After saying that, he flapped his wings and flew away to meet the next tribe, leaving Jiang You standing there, his claws clenched, his eyes deep. With such a king's court, what future can the eaglemen have? No wonder they will become one of the weakest monsters in the future. I will replace them sooner or later. Behind him, the eagle warriors who grew up with Jiang You also looked indignant, but they all held back and did not attack until the middle-aged eagle man left. An eagle man stepped forward and asked, "You, what should we do next?" Jiang You heard this, glanced at the eagle exploration team flying in the sky, and smiled. "Let them shout, we'll do our own thing. Lie, take out the bone spear we imitated before, and let's go on patrol." An eagle man stepped forward and handed Jiang You something wrapped in a long animal skin. Jiang You took off the animal skin, picked up the bone spear, and smiled at the eagle man. "From now on, I am a soldier of the royal court. I will take you out to explore. Follow me." Okay, he wanted to find the location of the old turtle. Even if the eagle man royal court did not order him to do so, he was willing to explore. However, it was safer for him to decide the route of the exploration. As for whether he would be discovered, that was irrelevant. Either way he would die, and in order to awaken the extraordinary, he had to take the risk. Chapter 6: Bathing in the Blood of Titans and Dragons. Bringing some pickled meat, he asked the surrounding eaglemen who had already performed the mission. Jiang You held a bone spear, put on a bearskin coat, pretended to be a royal guard, led his family members to fly up, and flew out of the camp in broad daylight. There were many such teams, and no eagleman cared about them. One by one, the royal eagleman led 50 eagleman tribe warriors out, and another one returned with more than a dozen tribal eaglemen. Often before the war, the scouts suffered the greatest losses in the sky. The warriors of the eagle tribe were the weakest. Not to mention the giant dragon hybrids, various flying sub-dragons, two-legged dragons, etc. that crisscrossed the sky. Even griffins could tie with a team of 50 eagleman scouts. Just as Jiang You was about to fly out of the edge of the camp, a royal eagle guard guarding the edge of the camp suddenly frowned and flew in front of him, asking expressionlessly, "Who are you? Why have I never seen you before?" "I'm new here today," Jiang You replied calmly. His expression was so natural that the wanting eagleman guarding the camp could not see anything wrong, so he nodded and let him go behind him. The tribesmen's heartbeats were about to start, and when they saw the guards let them go, they finally breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing Jiang Yu's actions, they raised their hearts again. Jiang You did not leave, but quietly stepped forward, put a piece of gold in his hand, and asked, "Big brother, I just came here. May I ask which place has the most intense battle for the sky?" Gold was a hard currency even in the ancient times. And this piece of gold was also obtained when the snake tribe was wiped out. The guarding eagleman nodded with satisfaction and smiled. I understand. The battle in the east has been the most intense in the past few days. Even several extraordinary eagle nobles have fallen. Little brother, you just arrived, so it's best to fly west. Thank you, big brother. Jiang You smiled and nodded, and then flew west with his people. Next to the eagle camp is the goblin camp. This ruined race of the future era is one of the major clans under the Titans in the current ancient times. They have a population of tens of millions, spread throughout the Ferland world, and even under the command of the ancient dragons the goblins are very smart. At least Jiang You saw that many huge catapults were built in the goblin camp. In addition to these, there are also wooden arrow towers and low tents, which are much more orderly than the messy eagle camp. Next to the goblins are the trolls. The trolls are similar to the eagles. The camp is very sloppy and a mess. Jiang You knows that the ancestors of the elegant and beautiful elves in the future may be among them. Further ahead, there are centaurs, dwarves, orcs, etc. All these are the epitome of the intelligent races in this world. Flying out of the camp, Jiang You led his people to the west, searching for small lakes, small pools, and small streams along the way. As for the big river that runs through the forest, the old turtle's memories describe it as definitely not the place where he lived in his childhood. At night, he led his people back in batches. In this way, he would go out early and return late, so that no one would find that his people had not decreased much after searching in the west for a few days. Jiang You did not find the old turtle's habitat on the fifth day, when he went out. The eagle guard at the gate stopped him and told him that he could not go to the safest west all the time. In desperation, Jiang You had to lead his people to the south. They carefully avoided the dragons and griffins on the dragon's side, but still ran into a two-legged dragon. After losing several people, Jiang You threw a spear and accurately pierced the eyeball of the two-legged dragon. The wyvern howled in pain, but this injury was not enough to make it lose its mobility, but it became even more ferocious. It went crazy. Jiang You made a prompt decision, left everyone behind, and led the wyvern away alone. They fled frantically over the forest, disturbing some creatures fighting in the sky from time to time. Fortunately, Jiang Yu's flying skills were good, and the injured wyvern was a one-eyed dragon, so he was not caught for a while. Just as the eagle and the dragon were wrestling, suddenly, Jiang You saw the sky suddenly turned black. He looked up and saw a blue dragon with a wingspan of 500 meters flying over his head. The ancient blue dragon king was also surrounded by blue thunder that could destroy the world. The huge body was covered with pieces of steel like scales, which looked extraordinary. Behind Jiang You, the wyvern chasing him saw this and let out a loud roar. This is its dragon master. However, before it could finish its joy, in the far north, a roar that shook the world suddenly came. Aerialtus, I haven't bothered you yet. How dare you take the initiative to die? The huge roar made Jiang You turn his head and look to the north. I saw a 200-meter-tall giant emitting purple lightning all over his body, with a piece of unknown material wrapped around his waist, holding a silver shining spear, which was surrounded by thunder that could destroy the world. He strode towards this direction, and the earth was shaking. The blue dragon was not to be outdone and roared loudly, Atri, stupid and arrogant Titan barbarian, today, let Lord Aerialtus grant you eternal annihilation. The distance between them seemed very far, but in fact, between such a behemoth, it was a matter of seconds. Boom, the two strongest men of the ancient times began to fight in close combat. The earth trembled in their battle, the sky was torn apart, the forest was trampled flat by them, and the strong wind wrapped in endless sand and dust, venting between heaven and earth. As the battle between the masters began in the earth and sky, countless races of both camps began to fight together on the earth. The Tauren carried big trees and swept across, the goblins carried backpacks and threw stone bullets, the trolls waved stone axes, the stone men smashed the ground with their bodies, the goat-horned men attacked with their heads, the centaurs galloped on the earth, the snake-bodied people held wooden bows, the dwarves raised stone hammers to kill the enemies, and the dragon people killed with their fists. In the sky, the eagle-bodied people fought in groups, the two-headed flying dragons roared in the sky, the flamingos burned the sky, the griffins had sharp teeth and claws, and the dragon eagles flapped their wings like knives. This is an epic mythical battlefield, and Jiang You was actually the closest place to the two behemoths. It is still unknown whether you can get chestnuts from the fire. Almost in an instant, Jiang You made up his mind. Behind him, the wyvern was infected by the atmosphere of the battlefield and rushed towards Jiang You with more excitement. There were battles all around, and flames were burning in the sky. Jiang You no longer dodged, but took out a bronze dagger from his arms, and rushed up to the wyvern. The moment it pounced, stood on its head, and thrust a sword into its forehead, stirring it violently. You killed a wyvern, experience plus 100. After the wyvern was killed, Its huge body fell down. Jiang You lay on its back and fell with it, pretending to die together because he had already seen that there was a small half-moon-shaped lake below. He thought of the old turtle's future residence, which was also a huge half-moon-shaped lake, and he was sure that it must be this place. As he and the wyvern fell into the water with a plop, the wyvern floated on the water, and under its shadow, Jiang You quickly dived into the water. After swimming for a few times, he soon found a cute little pink turtle lying on a smooth raw stone that was shining with green light at the bottom of the lake. Jiang You was delighted. It must be this thing. He swam hard and came to the little turtle, touched its little head, picked it up and put it in the corner of the blue stone, and sat on it himself. Suddenly, a very cool rhythm spread throughout his body. Outside in the vast sea forest, the 200-meter-tall Titan giant had a tall and strong body with scars, and his shining golden eyes contained a coldness. Humph, everything in the world belongs to the Titan God clan. You dragons are just a bunch of damn thieves. You call yourself a god clan? How arrogant. There are few races like you in the star realm. You are really damned. The blue lightning dragon laughed angrily and fought again. He swung his tail that was dozens of meters long, and the lightning burst on it. The Titan laughed loudly, holding a 300-meter-long spear, and rushed forward. We Titans have the power to move mountains and fill the sea, and we can turn the world upside down. Why can't we be called gods? Ridiculous. As soon as the voice fell, the two powerful beings collided again, stirring up dust all over the sky, and thunder fought each other, and their fight became more and more tragic. Golden blood flew in the fight and fell everywhere in the forest battlefield. They had long become demigods, and their blood turned into gold. During the fight, at a certain moment, the dragon claws of the blue lightning dragon Alelidus scratched the Titan's shoulder, and a large amount of golden blood suddenly fell into the half-moon-shaped lake where Jiang You was almost. The next moment, the entire half-moon lake was filled with golden blood. And he and the little turtle were also wrapped in golden Titan blood at the same moment. In an instant, a feeling of burning like a raging fire and burning all over the body was painful. It was like being in the sun, baked by 100,000-degree flame. At the same time, the system voice also sounded in real time. You bathed in the blood of the Titan, and all attributes are improved. It hurts so much. Even though his will was as strong as iron, he was burned to the point of wanting to die. Beside him, the pink little turtle had been burned red and was flopping on the blue stone. But the next moment, an extremely cool feeling surged into his body. Jiang You looked down and saw that on the blue stone, a bright green light was shining, covering him and the little turtle. However, the good times did not last long. After a moment of coolness, the blood of the Titan in the lake continued to flow. Not only that, because it was too close to the battle side of the two demigods, the blood of the ancient blue dragon king also fell into the lake. So, waves of burning sensations came again. You bathed in the blood of the Titan and the Dragon King, and all attributes are improved. At this moment, Jiang You realized that it was no wonder that the old turtle was reluctant to mention too much about the details of awakening. It was too painful. It was simply a torture, like repeated torture. I don't know how long it took. You bathed in the blood of Titans and dragons, and all attributes were improved. You bathed in the blood of Titans and dragons, and awakened the power of thunder. You bathed in the blood of Titans and dragons, and your bloodline changed, until the battle outside was over. The golden blood essence in the lake was absorbed by the man and the turtle, and the painful torture stopped at this time. The man and the turtle changed drastically. The shell of the little turtle turned purple-blue, with a trace of electric light lingering, and the small eyes the size of mung beans were full of wisdom. Chapter 7: The Fuse. The war outside was still going on, but the violent shaking of the earth caused by the Great War was slowly fading away. The Thunder Titan and the ancient Blue Dragon King had obviously moved away from this area in the fight. Jiang You poked his head out of the small lake and observed the surrounding battle situation. Because the two kings had just fought here, although the ground was in a mess, no living creatures came. This gave Jiang You time to look at the water surface. The reflection of a different eagle man was reflected on the water surface. His beak had fallen off, replaced by a delicate and beautiful nose and mouth like the human in his previous life. The gray and black hair on his face also fell off a little, showing a delicate outline on the top of his head. The originally gray hair became silver and gray, more shiny. The most conspicuous thing was his eyes. The original vertical eyes of the eagle man disappeared, replaced by a pair of purple eyes as bright as stars. In addition, a lot of feathers on his body fell off, and his claws and feet were not like the eagle claws before, but began to feel fleshy. This is approaching the direction of the hands and feet. The wings on the back have changed from the original gray-black to some white feathers. These white feathers are newly grown and look very fresh. He has evolved, just like his ancestors. He opened the panel and the data was completely different. Name: Jiang You. Race: Eagle Man. Bloodline mutation. Age: 16. Attributes: Strength 10, Constitution 10, Spirit 13, Agility 11, Charm 5. Level: Unlocked, Sealed, to be opened after the game is launched. Skills: Throwing, Mastery, Spear, Mastery, Thunder Power, Supernormal. Skill points: Unlocked, Sealed, to be opened after the game is launched. Talent: Champion Will. You have super insight and reaction ability, and your combat awareness is the best. Task System: Unlocked, Sealed, to be opened after the game is launched. Countdown to game launch: 3,650,136 days, 5 hours 35 minutes. Jiang You looked at the panel and found that his full attributes had improved a lot, and he was full of strength. His eyes looked further away. Although his level did not appear on the panel, he knew that he had entered the supernormal. Titan and Dragon Blood gave him the opportunity to enter the supernormal, and he seized it. Next, he was ready to return safely from this war. He picked up the bronze sword, and the supernormal power surged, and a thread of lightning lingered on the sword. When he faces the two-headed flying dragon again, he will have the strength to fight head-on. He walked out of the small lake, looking at the little turtle on the blue stone that had begun to show wisdom, and prepared to take the turtle and the stone away after the battle. When he came to the shore, he flapped his wings and was about to take off when he heard an extremely miserable cry between heaven and earth. Atari, you dare to kill me, Alelitus, today, you are dead. The voice of the Thunder Titan was like thunder from the sky, hitting all living beings. No, Jiang You raised his eyes and his heart skipped a beat. In the forest not far away, the tall Thunder Titan struggled to grab the head and neck of the blue dragon, and his hands seemed to have a billion volts here. The entire head of the blue dragon was torn off by him, bloody and terrifying. With a boom, the headless body of the blue dragon collapsed, and blood flowed into the forest like a river. The victorious Thunder Titan raised the head of the blue dragon king, causing the creatures in the Dragon King's camp to flee the entire Hanhei forest. The intelligent races belonging to the Titan camp all cheered. The war is over, we won. Seeing this scene, Jiang Yu's heart was like a volcanic eruption. This battle is actually the fuse battle. The death of Alelitus, the son of the Dragon King, caused the Titans and the dragons to start a war that spread throughout the world. The sky and the earth have collapsed. The losses of all races are heavy. I have to find my people first. After this battle, I have to consider saving my race, just like in this war. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8: Career Path. But before that, Jiang You looked at the glistening blue stones and small turtles at the bottom of the lake. After thinking about it, he still didn't take them all away. He has no storage equipment, and carrying them is like a child carrying gold while walking in the city. And he remembered that the first time storage equipment appeared was in the later stages of the Goblin Empire in Chapter 2. Note the location here. Jiang You then vibrated his gray and white wings and rose into the air, with a faint sound of winds and thunder, come to midair. After becoming extraordinary, his vision was extremely far-reaching. He could clearly see that the subordinate races that originally belonged to the Blue Dragon King's camp were either desperately fleeing or kneeling down to surrender. Sure enough, the outcome is decided. Jiang You looked towards the battlefield not far away, where the Thunder Titan and the Blue Dragon King were fighting. My eyelids twitched when I saw that the Thunder Titan had just swallowed the huge heart of the Blue Dragon King, ripped it out and skinned it, and took out the good things in its body. A giant dragon is a treasure, let alone an ancient dragon, but the Blue Dragon King is the son of the ancient Dragon King. After this battle, the giant dragon must have made up his mind to fight the Titans until death. The real world-destroying war is about to begin. This is the trigger battle. No, after I go back, I will move with my tribe. I can't stay in Gaoman Mountain anymore. The place where the Thunder Titan is located will be the place where the battle is fiercest. It can be said that the ancient dragon wants to kill the most. Jiang Yu's heart tightened. If history remains unchanged, there will still be 1 year left before the battle between the Titans and the dragons. No matter, I have to look for it. Where are my people now? He turned and flew east when he met the bipedal flying dragon before. After he led it away, the clansman flew towards the east. Fortunately, Eagle Man now belongs to the victor's side, and he is flying on the battlefield without danger. After flying for a while, he finally found a large group of hawks in the sky. Among them were his people, but when he took a glance, he found that there were only about 30 people in his tribe, and all of them were injured. Jiang You frowned and flew forward. His appearance changed drastically at this time. Although he still looked like a hawk, He was different. Although his tribesmen felt a familiar aura, they still did not dare to recognize each other because, with the power of thunder lingering on his wings, he is obviously an extraordinary strong man. Although there are many extraordinary eagles in the royal court, every extraordinary eagle is a valuable combat power of the Eagle King, and is at existence above ordinary eagles. So among this group of hawks, a hawk warrior with gray-black wings and a stone spear in his hand, who is obviously much stronger, flew out and said respectfully, "Sir, may I ask what brings you here?" Seeing the completely different attitude of this Yingren, who is obviously Wang Ting's Yingren warrior, Jiang Yu's understanding of Chaofan became even deeper. "I'm here to find my people." "Your people?" Wang Ting Yingren said doubtfully. "Yes, it's them." With that said, he flew in front of the clansmen. "People, I am Jiang You, and I'm back alive." "You? Is it really you?" Among the clan members, a male eagle man flew out and looked at Jiang You, who had changed greatly. He asked with half surprise and half doubt, as saying, "It's me." Jiang You nodded and smiled, seeing Jiang You skillfully say their names. The hawks of the Gaoman mountain tribe still couldn't believe it. It is true that Jiang You has changed so much and is still a transcendent person, which makes them suddenly feel like they are in a dream. Jiang You was about to ask his clansmen why there were only about 30 people left. The Wang Tinging man just now came to Jiang You again and said excitedly, "Sir, you are the newly promoted extraordinary hawk." Although Jiang Yu's appearance has changed drastically, being extraordinary varies from person to person. So Wang Tinging is not surprised. "Good," Jiang Yu nodded, "since your excellency is already extraordinary, please come with me to see the king." "The king will be delighted to see you," Wang Tinging continued. "What are the benefits of meeting the king?" Hearing this, Jiang Yu didn't care, but asked as soon as these words came out. Even though Wang Tinging was well informed, he couldn't help but be stunned. "Isn't it the greatest benefit to leave the tribe and stay in the royal court from now on?" Jiang Yu shook his head. "What about my people?" Wang Tinging said disdainfully. "Tribal people are low-level untouchables. They are like weeds growing freely in the wilderness. Why should you care? You only need to pick up your relatives." He faced west and worshipped the road, "and our royal court of eagles lives in the Shianshan mountains. It is rich in resources and has a pleasant environment. It is also close to the palace of His Highness Yatri, the Thunder Titan. That is where the nobles of the Eagle clan are." When Jiang Yu heard this, he felt even more disgusted with the Yingren. Wang Ting is a royal family, but they don't care about their own people. No wonder that in the 5th chapter in the future, the Yingren will lose their civilization and become monsters without wisdom and inheritance. He suppressed the anger in his heart. Now that he had just promoted to extraordinary level, he did not have the strength to challenge Wang Ting, so he had to calm down and speak. "The tribe gave birth to me and raised me, and I have no intention of abandoning him. However, I would like to ask my eldest brother to introduce me to the king. When the strength is low, it would be good to see the condition of the royal court." The Yingren and Wang Ting were not surprised when they heard this and smiled. "You extraordinary tribesmen are born like this in the beginning. When you go to the royal court, you will change your mind sooner or later. Now, I will take you to see the king." After Jiang Yu appeased the clan members, he followed the Yingren warrior from the royal court to fly to the Yingren king's residence. Arriving at the royal residence, Jiang Yu discovered many extraordinary eagles. When he entered the tent of the Eagle King, he saw a fat Eagle King wearing a feather crown sitting at the top, chatting with a middle-aged eagle. People discuss in Jiang Yu's perception, although the Yingren King is far less powerful than the Thunder Titan, it is still much more powerful than he is now on the throne. Seeing the appearance of an extraordinary eagle man, the Eagle Man King didn't pay much attention. He looked down at Jiang Yu and said calmly, "Since you have become extraordinary from a bitch, you must serve me well and defend the royal court in the future. Go down." After that, he said to the waiter again, "Take them to get 2 copies of Fengaiyu Jadu, and then let the priest explain to the new transcendent the career path after transcendence." Inside the big tent, the Yingren warrior from Wang Ting who introduced Jiang Yu was overjoyed and praised loudly, "Thank you, Your Majesty." Jiang Yu glanced at him and understood. It turns out that this is the reason why he introduced me to see him, and it is beneficial. However, when he heard the word career, he was a little confused and immediately thanked him. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Professionals, in the 5th chapter in the future, will be the path to advancement for every transcendent warrior, mage, ranger, priest, night watchman, knight, witch, warlock, witch, druid and more. There are also various branches of professions, numerous. Every profession has a complete path to becoming a legend. They only need to find a job. The only things that will affect their ability to become stronger in the future are talent and resources, but in this era, that doesn't seem to be the case. Career path, He heard it for the first time under the leadership of the waiter. After receiving Fengai Yulu, he followed the waiter to the priest. A hawk woman in a robe came to him. Explain it to him. You have become a transcendent, and I will explain to you the way to advance. The key to advancement is to determine your own career path. Only when you have determined your career path can you have the possibility of advancement. With a powerful career path, you can even advance to legend. Hearing this, Jiang Yu's heart moved. May I ask, Lord Priest, where can we find a job as a hawk? What inauguration? The eagle priestess frowned. There are only two ways to become a professional: self-creation and blood inheritance. How can you talk about finding a job? Jiang Yu was a little confused and asked subconsciously, if you can't take a job, how can you advance to become a legend? The eagle priestess glanced at him speechlessly and mocked. Humph, legend, you can really think about it. On the continent of Ferland, the career path that can advance to legend is so precious. Now only the Sky Warrior career of the royal family has a complete path to advance to legend. The self-created career path, because it is a rough start, requires many years of hard work and constant revision before it is possible to become a strong professional. So every powerful professional's path can only be passed down by blood. Speaking of this, she looked at Jiang Yu and became even more amused. If you don't have any ancestors by blood, you need to create your own profession. Jiang Yu heard this and was not moved by her ridicule, but he was shocked in his heart. In the future era, there will be employment points all over the world. Every intelligent being, as long as he has the qualifications, will have the opportunity to choose a complete legendary path to find a job. In other words, a career without a complete legendary path cannot be passed down. Who could do such a thing? It's amazing. I'm afraid only true gods can accomplish such a great feat. But now, I didn't expect that a career path that can advance to legend would be so precious. The predecessors planted trees, and the descendants enjoy the shade. How happy are the people of future generations? Unexpectedly, he became one of the predecessors who planted trees. For now, he could only ask, Master Priest, please tell me how to create a profession, consume something extraordinary and activate your spiritual vision, such as Fengai Yulu, then use meditation to touch the spiritual sea, and use your own ideas to build an extraordinary career. Remember, the profession you build must conform to your own physique, attributes, mind and will. Don't be too ambitious and unrealistic, otherwise your career path will be a dead end from the beginning. The road to entrepreneurship is not easy either. Do you remember? Remember, then go out. Chapter 9, The Majesty of the Titans. After coming out of the priest's tent, Jiang Yu left the royal court and went to where his family members were. Although the war is won, we cannot leave immediately. When leaving the royal court station, the royal court eagle warrior told him if he can't let go of the tribe, he can go back first, because he seemed very confident that Jiang Yu would definitely return to the royal court in the future. Not just him, it seems that the entire Yingren Wangting is so confident. Then he told him that in 3 days, there will be a celebration meeting prepared by all races for the Thunder Titan Yatri that he needs to attend. At that time, everyone needs to praise the great Thunder Titan. After finding the tribesmen, they returned to the camp where the tribal eagles were first placed. Only then did Jiang Yu realize that there were not even a single tribal hawk left in the entire camp, and every surviving tribal hawk was filled with tears, like a walking corpse. This war has drained the blood of the eagle people from all tribes in the wilderness. However, the royal court was so high that no one dared to resist it this time. Jiang Yu asked about the experiences of the clan members under Asang's explanation. After Jiang Yu lured the two-headed flying dragon away, they were temporarily recruited by a group of Wenting Yingren warriors and put into the cannon fodder queue, placed at the front to face the griffins on the dragon's side. Soon, more than a dozen tribesmen died in the battle. Fortunately, they were protected by bronze armor, and the war ended after the Titans tore the Blue Dragon King apart, so there was no greater harm. Wang Ting's eagle warriors are always at the end of the team, commanding the eagle warriors of each tribe to fight, so in every war, Wang Ting's casualties are minimal. This is the reason why there is not even one tribal eagle man left in 10. After Jiang Yu heard this, he became even more angry at Yingren Wangting. He decided that this time when he went back, he would not obey the royal court's orders. As for the location of the Gaoman mountain tribe, we won't wait until we find a better location a year later anyway, when the final battle between the Titans and the dragons breaks out. Whether the Yingren royal court still exists or not is a question. The third day, Jiang Yu and his clan members sat quietly in the camp, waiting for the arrival of the Titans. When the sun is 3 poles high, the sun is at its strongest. The rumble of footsteps came from far and near. A Titan, more than 200 meters tall, walked step by step to the center of the camps of all races. His body was surrounded by thunder that destroyed the world, and he made a huge dragon head into a helmet and wore it on his head. The smell of the dragon's blood still lingers on it. Yatri stood tall and straight, as if he was standing on a cloud. He lowered his eyes to look at the densely packed ant-like intelligent creatures at his feet, with a hint of indifference and boredom in his eyes. If the King of Titans hadn't told them that these ant-like intelligent beings contained the secret of becoming gods, he would not have cared about the lives of these ants. He spoke loudly, "My slaves, hail your master. The great Titan will eventually rule everything in Ferland." Just like the thunder that collapsed the heaven and earth, it exploded between the heaven and the earth, and the vast majesty swept across the entire vast forest. All creatures were suppressed by this pressure, their hearts trembled and their bodies collapsed. This is the power of the Titans. Every Titan starts out as a legend, and a strong Titan like Yatri has long been a demigod. Jiang You couldn't stand the majesty and half knelt on the ground, but after absorbing the blood of the Titan and the dragon, he came back to his senses in just a moment. He raised his eyes and looked up at the Titan, who seemed to be sitting on the clouds, standing tall on the sky and the earth, like the king of the world. His heart felt unyielding and hot. He can take his place. Chapter 10 Career Path, Thunder Rider. After the Titans' grand meeting, all the tribes of Ferland dispersed, and the Eagle King's court also returned to Xianshan with his people, ordering all tribes to disband on their own. Jiang You dragged on until the end, and he secretly took the little turtle and Yingyin King Shi away. This place will definitely be one of the tragic battlefields in the future, and he doesn't plan to come again after that. Jiang You returned to Gaoman Mountain with his tribesmen. Although more than a dozen people died in the battle, it was much better than the annihilation of their fathers before. A few days later, everyone returned to the Gaoman Mountain tribe. Seeing their tribesmen return, most of the eagles cried with joy. Only those who lost their husbands, brothers, and sons cried bitterly. Jiang You was also very uncomfortable when he left. He promised to bring everyone back, but now more than a dozen people have suffered at the same time. The eagles were amazed at Jiang Yu's drastic change and his extraordinary strength. Several old eagles cried with joy, and they understood the meaning of extraordinary in this ancient era. That night, the tribesmen had a feast. Most of the young and strong in the tribe returned, and the tribe settled down the next day in the wooden house in the village. Jiang You placed a blue stone under his bed, made a small nest for the little turtle, and introduced it to the tribesmen. The little turtle, born with wisdom, is like a newborn baby, full of curiosity about the world. It is small and cute, and also has the power of thunder. It soon gained the favor of the entire Gaoman tribe, and the children liked to play with it. The eagle mother loved it even more and treated it as a family. A few days later, Jiang You took the young and strong out hunting every morning. Because of his extraordinary body, he got a lot of food back. After obtaining a period of food reserves, he decided to practice in seclusion and create his own career path. After telling the eagles not to disturb him, Jiang You returned to his wooden house and prepared to start a business in seclusion. He moved out a blue stone that was emitting a bright light and sat on it. This magical blue stone can allow him to absorb the blood of the Titan and awaken the extraordinary. It is definitely an extremely precious treasure. The biggest gain from participating in the battle between the Titan and the dragon this time is this: with this blue stone, maybe creating a career will be smoother. He took out a wind spirit Jade and took it, and then began to meditate and touch the spiritual sea. The wind spirit Jade is said to be a unique, extraordinary spiritual object on Xianshan Mountain. After taking it, Jiang You quickly entered a meditative state. In meditation, he could see the spiritual particles around him, all kinds of colors, but only the purple spiritual particles were the most, and they were closest to him. Jiang You understood that these purple spiritual particles were the element of thunder, which was the foundation of his extraordinary. So he stretched out all his mind, followed his inner feelings, touched the thunder element, and gradually sublimated with their flow, until he saw a vast spiritual ocean composed of colorful spiritual particles. With his mind on this spiritual sea, Jiang You began to think about the career he was going to create. There is no doubt that his extraordinary power will be mainly based on thunder power. After this idea came up, the thunder elements in the spiritual sea gathered. Then, he counted his advantages. As an eagle man, he has the ability to fly, and as a traverser, he has the memory of 2 lives. Moreover, he has the innate champion will, which can match the powerful combat power. As his understanding of himself deepened, a career template gradually emerged, and in the depths of his soul, ding-ding sound kept ringing. Player triggers the inauguration task. Player triggers the extraordinary road selection. System error. Unable to generate the inauguration task. System error. Inauguration task is not completed. System error. Inauguration conditions are insufficient. System error. Player template changed. System error. Start system automatic repair. Repair failed. Repair failed. I don't know how long it took when Jiang You returned from the spiritual sea. Player obtains NC template, NC level, elite. Congratulations to the player for completing the job, Thunder Master. Chapter 11. The battle between Titan and Dragon breaks out. In the wooden house, he opened the panel name, Jiang You race, Eagle Man, bloodline mutating, template, ordinary players, not available yet, template, NC, elite, occupation, Thunder Controller age 16, attributes, strength 15, constitution 10, spirit 15, agility 15, charisma 6. Level, not unlocked, sealed, will be opened after the game is launched. Skills, throwing, mastery, spear skill, mastery, thunder power, extraordinary, skill points, not unlocked, sealed, will be opened after the game is launched. Talent, champion's will, you have super insight and reaction capabilities, and your combat awareness surpasses everything else. Mission system, not unlocked, sealed, will be opened after the game is launched. Game start countdown. 3,650,100 days, 7 hours and 12 minutes. Jiang You looked at the system panel and saw that all his attributes had increased, and he had also unlocked professions and NC templates. He said somewhat amusedly, the player's unlock should be in Chapter 5, and with this NC template, it seems that I am now an elite monster. Then he closed the system panel. At this stage, for him, this thing was a mirror that reflected his own strength. He stood up, opened the door, and walked out of the cabin. Guarding outside was a Iron warrior wearing bronze armor and holding a bronze spear. He was happy to see Jiang You appear. You're out of seclusion. Jiang You patted his shoulder and smiled. Thank you for your hard work, Liang. Ha. Guarding the door for you is not hard at all. Liang laughed. Okay, now that I'm out of seclusion, you don't have to stay here. Go and do your work. Jiang You smiled. I have nothing to do now. Can you let me see what level of strength you have now? Hao asked curiously. Every hawk envies to become a transcendent. If we talk about strength, the deer monster we encountered is probably no match for me. After speaking, Jiang You raised a bronze spear and used a little force. Purple thunder swirled around the tip of the spear. He used all his strength and threw it outside the village. Just hearing a bang, a large pit with a diameter of 1 meter appeared on the ground. It's really amazing. Ryo and the hawks who noticed the movement were amazed. With Yaoze, our Gaoman mountain tribe has finally begun to grow stronger. Jiang You looked at the cheering tribesmen and felt very happy in his heart. After taking office, he could see the extraordinary future and had the hope of becoming stronger step by step. Especially the baptism with the blood of titans and dragons greatly improved his physical potential. Give him enough time, and he believes that he will have no problem at least advancing to legend. After all, he has the experience of the previous life, so he will not fall far behind. In the following days, Jiang You arranged for the tribesmen to forge bronze weapons and armor pieces and reserve food. He also often flies out of Gaoman Mountain to explore the surrounding environment to see if there is a suitable place for the hawks to hide and live in seclusion. The epic battle between the titans and the dragons was about to begin, and even the legend might not be able to survive, let alone him, an extraordinary professional who had just advanced. After some searching, I found quite a few habitats for monsters after exploring his surroundings. Jiang You decided to fly a little further. It took him 7 days and 7 nights to pack up the equipment for the journey. After traveling 10,000 miles to the east, we came directly to the edge of the Eastern Sea. According to ancient legends, the ocean is the territory of the sea people, except for titans and dragons. No one dares to stay on the seaside. Jiang You flew around the seaside for a few days and found a tall mountain peak standing on the seaside. The surrounding resources were rich. Except for a few magical beasts, there were no traces of intelligent life at all. This is simply a paradise given by God to the Gaoman mountain tribe. When the war starts, I will bring my people here. No matter how terrifying the Sea Clan is, can it be compared to the battle between the Titan and the Dragon that almost broke the world? 1 year later, Jiang You was practicing in Gaoman Mountain as usual. It seemed that due to the effect of the blood of Titan and Dragon, his practice speed was extremely fast. In 1 year, he rose from Thunder Controller level 1 to level 5, reaching the first level of Extraordinary, the pinnacle of the official level. The next stage is the second level of Transcendence, the Master stage. So, he once again entered the sea of spirituality and created the advanced profession of Thunder Controller, Thunder Wings. This day he was just about to start breaking through on the bluestone when the desolate bronze horn sounded. A voice like the sky wind came from above the clouds. Call your clan leader to come out. When Jiang You came to the stone cliff, The eagle messenger seemed surprised that Jiang You was an extraordinary eagle, and couldn't help but soften his tone. He raised his stone spear high and announced, "There is an order from the royal court to recruit all the young and strong eagle people from the Gaoman mountain tribe and go to the ancestral court of the eagle people Xianshan to wait for dispatch." When Jiang You heard this, something suddenly came to his mind. The war that will destroy the world has finally begun. Chapter 12 The Wind Messenger. On the cliff, Jiang You looked at the eagle man Wang Ting's envoy who was aloft, and felt the familiar aura that was stirring the wind and clouds, but there was no sense of oppression at the beginning without him. He is now also a second-level extraordinary professional, and the extraordinary level of this messenger is only the master level. While in the vast forest, he inquired about the strength and profession of Wang Ting's messenger. The occupation of the envoys of the Ying Ren Wang Ting is generally messenger. They belong to the same eagle family and send messengers abroad. Arrange a messenger of the first level of extraordinary in nearby places for distant places like Gaoman Mountain, the advanced profession of sending messengers. The messenger of wind, however, since the birth of the messenger profession, the strongest one is only the third stage of transcendence, the windrunner, but it is difficult to achieve. Today, there is only one windrunner in the messenger family, who is usually recruited by the Thunder Titan to transmit information between the Titan and various races. The greatest characteristic of the messenger profession is its extremely fast speed. Thoughts flashed through Jiang Yu's mind, and he straightened his body for the first time as he looked at the eagle messenger. In mid-air he laughed. "Messenger, do you know that if all the young men of the tribe are taken away, how will the rest of my tribe survive?" The eagle messenger frowned upon hearing this. Every Yingren must serve the royal court unconditionally. This is an iron law from ancient times to the present. The people of the tribe are as humble as grass. If you can live, live, or if you don't, live. You are a noble and extraordinary person. Why should you mix among a bunch of untouchables and surrender? Hearing this, Jiang You could no longer bear the murderous intention in his heart. If the royal court treats us like our own subjects, then we will naturally die for the royal court. But the royal court treats us like ants, so why should we sacrifice our lives for the royal court? The eagle messenger was furious when he heard this. How presumptuous! As a hawk who is lucky enough to be in the extraordinary world, you dare to slander the royal court, utter arrogant words, and disobey government orders. Today, I will kill you. After saying that, he raised the stone spear high. The gray and black wings behind his back were surging with wind and clouds, and a strong wind speed blessed his body, and he killed Jiang You as fast as lightning. He was so worried that he wouldn't be able to take down Jiang You. My family's extraordinary inheritance has been optimized from generation to generation. How can it be compared to a wild path? Below, on the cliff, the eagles in Gaoman Mountain felt a breath of the violent wind crashing down in the sky, and they all showed fear. However, there was no fear on Jiang Yu's face. Instead, he was full of fighting spirit. He took a step forward, holding the brown sword horizontally. The violent purple thunder power filled the sword body, and he roared loudly in the direction of the Yingren envoy. 11 years ago, my father died in the royal court recruitment. A year ago, my clan members almost died in the vast sea forest. Messenger, I have wanted to kill you for a long time. The Yingren envoy took the initiative to attack and kill him, which was exactly what he wanted. He had no chance of catching up with the messenger of the wind. A messenger profession. He could only kill him when he took the initiative to attack. In an instant, the two collided. The power of strong wind and thunder clashed violently. Like a tragic song played between heaven and earth, blood spurted out, and two gray-black wings were chopped off in an instant. It turned out that at the moment of contact, the sword and the stone spear collided, and the power of winds and thunder intertwined. At this moment, the wings behind Jiang You exploded like a thunderous python. The powerful thunder pulled several brown swords behind him and slashed at the wings of the Yingren messenger, cutting him off in one fell swoop. The messenger who lost his wings had his strength suddenly cut in half, and could no longer possess the top speed he once had. The eagle messenger was shocked and angry for a moment. However, Jiang Yu's will was as strong as iron, and he pursued the victory and soon beat him bloody and scarred. You can't run away, you can't fight. Seeing that he was about to die in this wild and desolate place, the Yingren envoy was heartbroken and knelt down directly facing Jiang You. I lost. Please spare my life. I have a large number of extraordinary spiritual objects in exchange for my life. However, Jiang You looked extremely cold. No need. My blood feud for generations in Gaoman Mountain will begin with you. After saying that, he did not hesitate to chop off the head of the Yingren envoy, who was kneeling on the ground. Chapter 13, Heaven Mountain. Under the blazing sun, the clouds dispersed and the strong wind stopped on the cliff. Jiang You held the head of an eagle man in his hand. He turned to look at the tribesmen who were trembling with fear at this scene and smiled. Tribesmen, do you still remember the great expedition of the Eagle Man King's court every 10 years? Every time we were summoned, our fathers and ancestors rarely returned, and the Gaoman tribe has been in a state of decline, and we have almost been in danger of extinction several times. This is not treating us as human beings. As soon as these words came out, the eyes of the eagle people in the tribe gradually changed from fear to hatred, seeing that they had aroused their fighting spirit. Jiang You nodded in his heart. Then he said, blood feuds can be avenged for 9 generations. Today I will kill their envoy. In the future, when we become strong, we will step on Xianshan Mountain and ask the Eagle King on the throne in person. Are the people of the tribe really ants? Are we really ants? No, no, no. The high-pitched roar shook Gaoman Mountain, and the anger of the tribesmen was completely ignited. The roars of Jiang You and other tribesmen stopped, and continued. Then, from today on, we will pack our bags and migrate. There is a tall mountain on the eastern coast, rich in resources, beautiful environment, and no one has developed it. It is the place where my Gaoman Mountain tribe rose. Migrate, migrate. In fact, at this time, by killing the envoy of the Eagle King's court, all the eagles of Gaoman Mountain will rise and fall together. No one objected. 3 days later the eaglemen of Gaoman Mountain tribe packed up their luggage and followed Jiang You to fly eastward. In the sky, Jiang You looked at the village with wooden houses below, and said to himself, one day, I will come back. 1 month later, after a long journey, the eaglemen of Gaoman Mountain finally arrived at the East China Sea coast mountain under the leadership of Jiang You. The eaglemen found that the scenery here was indeed beautiful and the resources were rich. As Jiang You said, each of them was full of joy. In the air, Jiang You and his tribesmen flew slowly, and behind him, the eagleman warrior Liang suddenly said happily, You, this mountain will be your home in the future. You give it a name. Jiang You nodded happily when he heard this. He looked at this tall and majestic mountain, and the famous mountains and rivers in his previous life flowed through his heart. He smiled. This mountain is majestic and magnificent, like a gift from God. I actually want to call it Xianshan. But Xianshan is the residence of the Eagle King, so let's add a word and call it Heaven Mountain. Heaven Mountain, what a good name. The eagles don't understand what Heaven Mountain means. Only Jiang You knows the infinite ambition hidden in his heart. It was still early. After observing for a while, Jiang You led the eagles to land near the cliff. They began to cut down trees and build wooden houses with the bronze axes they had prepared long ago. In less than a month, a wooden house village similar to the Gaoman Mountain tribe appeared on the mountain. That's it. The Gaoman Mountain tribe began to recuperate on the coast of the East China Sea and on the entire Ferland continent. The Titan giants and the ancient dragons have been beaten to pulp. Not only many Titan giants and ancient giants were killed and wounded, but almost all races among the Ferland tribes suffered heavy casualties. Demigods bleed, legends fall, and the whole world is in darkness. 20 years later, on the shore of the East China Sea, the Gaoman tribe has more than 1,000 people. One day Jiang You was practicing on the cliff. Suddenly from the distant western forest, there was an angry shout. Asuna, do you really want to die with me? Chapter 14, Light Titan Asuna. Jiang You, who was practicing, suddenly opened his eyes. At this time, his eyes were as bright as purple stars, and his aura was much higher than 20 years ago. The second stage of transcendence, the practice of professional thunder wings, has reached the top stage. He looked to the distant west, and saw a sound of shaking the earth and mountains coming quickly. Soon an ancient dragon and a Titan giant over 100 meters tall appeared in his sight. The ancient black dragon was pure black, and his scales shone with metallic brilliance, but he was not in good condition at the moment, with bloodstains on his body. The Titan giant was a Titan giantess, wearing a tree ring woven with vines on her head, with a beautiful face, fair skin, and a graceful figure. If her body was reduced by 100 times, she would be the human beauty that Jiang You often saw on the internet in his previous life. Facing the sudden arrival of the Titan giant and the ancient dragon, Jiang You was extremely confused, but this did not affect his decision. How could it be that the Titans and the ancient dragons would fight here? He called several adult eaglemen and ordered them, quick, follow the rules set by the tribe in the past and take the tribesmen to hide in the refuge cave. Yes, chief. Faced with Jiang Yu's order, several eaglemen quickly agreed. For 20 years, all eaglemen have obeyed Jiang Yu's orders. Seeing several adult eaglemen quickly go out to do things, Jiang You nodded. He looked to the west, hesitated for a while, and still flapped his wings and quietly went west. In the western forest thousands of miles away, the Titan female giant raised the spear in her hand high, completely ignoring her serious injuries, and fiercely stabbed the scales of the ancient black dragon, and golden blood gushed out immediately. "Mephit, you killed my brother. Today, you will sleep here with me." The ancient dragon saw that it was difficult for him to survive today, sighed and laughed. "Well, Asuna, I won't lose out if I can be buried with a titan beauty like you." As he spoke, the dark aura on his body surged and almost filled the sky. The world was pitch black. A pure black dragon claw stretched out from the dark aura, like a sharp sword, and fiercely poured into the full chest of the titan giantess. Asuna endured the severe pain and almost exhausted all the light power in her body. The light broke through the darkness, and the spear of light sent unparalleled light into the black dragon's head. The explosion and collision of light and darkness almost destroyed all the trees in Jiang Yu's side. In an instant there was chaos between heaven and earth. Even though Jiang Yu saw something wrong and retreated urgently, he was also in such an explosion. He lost his mind for a moment and fell to the ground. When the dust settled, Jiang Yu got up from the ground and looked up. The forest within a radius of thousands of miles was destroyed. The aura of darkness and light intertwined on it, becoming a real barren land. In the middle of this barren land, the bodies of a titan female and an ancient black dragon lay quietly on the ground. "It's amazing." Jiang Yu flew above the two ancient demigods, not afraid of the breath of the ancient overlords emanating from their bodies, and sighed in a low voice with a smile on his lips. "A dead titan and a dead ancient dragon. God has blessed my clan. I have already thought of how to use you. The bodies of the demigods are immortal enough. And if they are hidden secretly, they will be the treasures of the clan." After sighing for a while, and looking at the golden blood flowing down the ground, Jiang Yu felt a little distressed. "I have to get the blue stone. This blood can't be wasted." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15: The Origin of the Winged People. He did what he said. Jiang Yu first returned to the station and announced the news that the danger was lifted, and then asked the tribesmen to prepare bronze tools and find 2 places in the belly of the Heaven Mountain that could accommodate the bodies of the Titan and the Dragon, and dig 2 large pits. He wanted to hide them and use them for a long time. Then, he picked up the blue stone and flew to the place where the Titan and the Dragon died together. When he arrived at the destination again, the blood of the 2 demigod creatures was no longer flowing, and the bodies of the demigods were extraordinary, but under them, several pools of golden blood still gathered at the same time. Because the power of light and darkness could not coexist, there was a sizzling sound where the blood of the 2 sides intertwined, as if something was constantly being worn and then decayed together. Seeing this scene, Jiang Yu gave up the idea of bathing in the blood of the Titan and the Dragon. "But you have to choose one between light and darkness, Titan and Dragon." At this time, he looked at his appearance and felt that he still preferred humanoid creatures, so he came to the pool of blood formed by the Titan's blood, and jumped down holding the blue stone. In just a moment, a deep pain swept through his body, and he felt that every part of his skin and cells were burning. It was like being recast, beating his whole body like apart. And there was a fatal violent feeling, pulling out his blood and pressing it in again. But soon, the blue stone began to emit a bright light, and a cool feeling spread throughout the body. The violent feeling was eliminated, and the blood mutation calmed down. Jiang Yu only had time to breathe a sigh of relief, and the severe pain like the 18th level of hell came again. Pain, too painful. This time, there was no dilution of lake water. He was purely soaked in the Titan's blood. Outside of his mind, the system's ding-ding sound kept ringing. But he didn't have the energy to check it. He went back and forth like this for 3 days and 3 nights. When he could no longer feel the pain and only relied on a strong will to support his unyielding consciousness, only 1/10 of the Titan blood in the depression remained, and the brilliance was gone. Just like ordinary things, Jiang Yu finally recovered. He first checked his body and found that the gray and black feathers in his wings had all faded and replaced with white feathers. His hair also turned silver. Except for the wings, the feathers on his entire body, including his face, had all faded, revealing his handsome face and fair skin. Because he was bathing in the blood of the light Titan, his charm was greatly improved. What surprised him the most was that his hands and feet had been completely transformed into hands and feet, which were no different from humans. In his previous life with human hands and feet, he could do too many things, and his combat effectiveness was greatly improved. At this time, he had time to look at the system panel. As soon as the panel was opened, a large amount of system information popped up. You bathed in the blood of the Titans, and your attributes changed. You bathed in the blood of the Titans, and your blood began to change. You bathed in the blood of the Titans, and all attributes were improved. You bathed in the blood of the Titans, and your will was improved. You bathed in the blood of the Titans, and you awakened the power of light. You bathed in the blood of the Titans, and your Eagleman blood has completely mutated. Please name the new blood. Panel. Name, Jiang You race, Eagleman, completely mutated. Please name it yourself. Template, ordinary player, not available yet. Template, NC, master, profession, Thunderwing age. 36, attributes, strength 25, constitution 20, spirit 25, agility 25, charm 30. Level, unlocked, sealed, to be opened after the game starts. Skills, throwing, mastery, spearmanship, mastery, swordsmanship, master, thunder force, superb, light force, superb. Skill points, unlocked, sealed, to be opened after the game starts. Talent, champion will, you have super insight and reaction ability, and your combat awareness is the best. Task system, unlocked, sealed, to be opened after the game starts. Countdown to game start. 3,643,100 days, 4 hours and 19 minutes. Seeing the race name, Jiang Yu's eyes flashed with curiosity. He wanted to name it an angel, but as soon as this idea came up, he felt a great terror suddenly appeared, and then he gave up quickly. If you don't deserve the position, you will be punished by God. Since you can't be an angel, you can be a winged man first. System, the new race is named Winged Man, Jiang You said decisively. Congratulations to the player for successfully naming the race. Eagleman changed to Wingman. Chapter 16, Pool Building Evolution. Back to the sky above the heaven mountain. Jiang You saw that 2 large pits with a radius of 100 meters were almost completed in the belly of the mountain. 3 days, for almost all the eagles who went into battle. Digging 2 pits was not too easy. Seeing that everyone was busy, Jiang You landed and worked together to complete the final steps. When the eagles saw Jiang Yu's appearance, although the breath was very familiar, they did not dare to recognize him for a while. To say that Jiang Yu still looked a bit like an eagle before, but now, he was very different from an eagle if you insist. He looks like a titan giant with wings and shrunk 100 times. Among the eagles, an old eagle spoke. You? Is that you, Liang? It's me. Jiang Yu nodded. The friends who grew up together are all old. In the ancient times, the lifespan of ordinary eagles was about 50 years old. They failed to be promoted to extraordinary, so they gradually grew old. Great, you have become stronger again. We are one step closer to the goal of revenge. Liang laughed happily. The eagleman also showed happy and proud expressions. Yes, it won't be too far. Jiang Yu took over the conversation and said loudly to the tribesmen, but it's difficult for me to flatten the Chyanshan royal court alone. Now, I have found a good way to make the tribesmen stronger with me. How to do it? Will it succeed? There is not a single eagleman with extraordinary qualifications in our tribe. The tribesmen were puzzled. Jiang Yu explained loudly, I evolved and became stronger because of the blood of the Titans, and now the blood of the Titans is in front of me. Tribesmen, I ask you to dig 2 big pits, not only to bury the dead Titans and dragons, but also to use their blood to transform the tribesmen. I will build a pond here so that all the tribesmen can bathe in the blood of the Titans, but it is said that the blood of the Titans cannot be touched, and those who touch it will spontaneously combust and die. Some tribesmen were puzzled. I have my own way, Jiang Yu said firmly. One day later 2 large pits that could accommodate the Titan and the Dragon were formed in the belly of the mountain. Jiang Yu took all the young and strong men in the tribe and rushed to a place 10,000 miles away, pulled the 2 behemoths back one by one, and buried them in the huge pit. After burying them in the huge pit, Jiang Yu set up a forbidden area outside the pit where the ancient black dragon was buried, and built a pool of 100 meters above the buried female Titan of light. He broke the blue stone and sprinkled it evenly on the bottom of the pool, and then opened a hole in the body of the female Titan, allowing a stream of golden blood to flow continuously in the pool. After doing all this, he summoned all the tribesmen to bathe in the small pool collectively. The first bath in the blood of the Titan. Only a small number of the eagles changed, but Jiang Yu required the eagles in the tribe to come here to bathe once every 7 days. That's it. As time passed, their feathers began to fade slowly, their beaks slowly fell off, their gray-black feathers began to turn white, and their hands and feet also moved in the direction of humans. But no one awakened the extraordinary. It was really too difficult to be extraordinary. Another 20 years passed. On the top of Chyanshan Mountain, Jiang Yu stood high up, overlooking the entire Chyanshan Mountain tribe. He had white wings on his back, silver hair and purple eyes, and a handsome face, like a little titan. At this time, the population of Chyanshan Mountain tribe has reached 5,000, and they have changed greatly from the former eagle people. Jiang You estimated that in another 100 years, before the Titan blood is exhausted, all his people will become like him. At that time, he, the winged people, will not be alone. Looking at the increasingly large village below, which can even be said to be a small town, Jiang You couldn't help but sigh. It's a pity that Liang, Seng, and Lai have not become extraordinary. Time is really a grind, and the companions of the year have all died of old age. Chapter 17 Giant Wood Clan. Boss, don't be sad, don't you still have me with you? Don't worry, with my lifespan, I will definitely live longer than you. Just as Jiang You sighed, a lazy boy's voice came from beside him. Jiang Yu's mouth twitched and he turned his head to look. I saw a little turtle imitating his posture, standing on a stone with his paws behind his back. The little turtle pretended to look around the mountains, as if overlooking his kingdom. Seeing his lively expression, Jiang You couldn't help but laugh and scold. Zioba, if you can't comfort people, don't talk, and you've lived longer than me. He stopped at this point. This little turtle, didn't he live to the 5th chapter? He is now the 3rd level of the extraordinary. The hero level. In the past 20 years his corresponding profession has also advanced from the 2nd level Thunder Wings to the 3rd level Holy Wing Walker. After experiencing the baptism of the blood of the Light Titan, his potential for the power of light exceeds the power of thunder. Within 20 years, he made perfect use of the extraordinary power of both and built it into his career system. The 3rd level of the extraordinary is the strongest level below the legendary level. People who have reached this stage are often called heroes by the world. So it is also called the hero level, and the lifespan has been extended, and they can live for 500 years. Of course, this is for ordinary intelligent races like them. The lifespan of some gifted extraordinary creatures cannot be calculated by common sense, such as the little turtle in front of Jiang You. This is an old antique who has lived to the 5th chapter. It is possible that there is some extraordinary blood in his body. Perhaps Jiang Yu's eyes are too fascinated, and the little turtle can't help but shudder. Boss, why are you staring at me like this? It's scary. Jiang You suddenly came back to his senses, touched its head, and said with a smile, actually, you are right, Zioba. Thanks to you, for a long time, he will not be lonely. The sun gradually rises, and the sea breeze blows up the mountain. Just as Jiang You and the little turtle were joking, a winged figure filled with the power of light fell from the sky and came to Jiang You. Chief, there is a troll tribe coming here 10,000 miles to the west. Troll tribe? Jiang You was stunned when he heard it. Why would a troll tribe come here? This is a coastal area. Is there no legend of the sea tribe on the current continent? He thought about it and made arrangements. Luo, call the Cheyenne team and go with me to see. The Cheyenne team is the tribe members who have awakened extraordinary powers in the tribe in the past 20 years. There are about a dozen of them influenced by the blood of the Titans. They are almost all awakened by the power of light. However, because of their extraordinary achievements, their morphological evolution is far more amazing than that of their peers. Except for the fact that their hands and feet have not fully evolved, their faces have all lost their feathers, becoming the closest to Jiang You. After talking to Luo, Jiang You said to the little turtle, Zioba, you stay in the tribe to prevent accidents. Don't look at the cute little turtle, but it is a real master-level strong man. Boss, I want to go with you. The little turtle's green bean-sized eyes were eager to try. Haha, Zioba, I don't object to you coming. But you don't have wings. The little turtle was immediately discouraged. Without wings, there are no mages in this era. Only legends can fly. Okay, Luo, go and call people. We will set off immediately. Yes. Half an hour later Luo appeared in front of Jiang You with a dozen extraordinary eagle men. Let's go. Jiang You gave an order, holding a bronze long sword, and led everyone to the west. A few hours later the sun was about to set, and dusk enveloped the world. Jiang You finally came to the sky above this troll tribe. He looked down and saw that it was a large troll tribe with a total of 10,000 people, but they looked very embarrassed, as if they were expelled. Just as he was observing, a strong and sturdy voice sounded from the troll tribe below. Who is the friend of the Eagle King's court in the sky? We are the Giant Wood Clan under the command of the Natural Titan. Please come down to see us. Chapter 18 Crossing the Sea to the East. Natural Titan, Giant Tree Clan. Jiang You vaguely felt that the name of this troll tribe's clan was somewhat familiar. However, after the observation just now, the strength of the troll who spoke is already the strongest in the troll tribe, and is at the hero level. Jiang You let go of some of his worries seeing the troll tribe shouting an invitation. Jiang You wanted to go down and find out what this troll tribe was doing on the coast of the East China Sea. These trolls are thousands of miles away from the East China Sea. Do they want to be neighbors with him? He said to Roll and the other hawks beside him. Roel and I will go down, and the others will observe on the spot. Yes, Patriarch. After giving the instructions, Jiang You brought Luo over to the troll tribe. Was the first thing he said. Trolls, we are not the eagle people, but the wind people who have lived in the seaside place for generations. The trolls who saw the faces of Jiang You and others were also filled with admiration. The troll leader who shouted sighed, I made a mistake. Your titan-like beauty is indeed not comparable to that of the eagle people. He introduced himself. Your Excellency, I am the leader of the Giant Tree clan, Longsint Giant Tree. Reaching out to avoid hitting the smiling man, Jiang You politely replied, Hello Longsint, I am the leader of the Yaoran clan, Jiang You. Then, he asked directly, I want to know why the Jumu clan appears on the coast of the East China Sea. Will they want to settle here in the future? As if he could tell that Jiang You didn't welcome his tribe here, Ronson said with a wry smile, We will not settle here. We come to this place to cross the sea to another continent. Crossing the sea. Jiang You was surprised. Crossing the sea in this era is not an easy task. Yes, we will cross the ocean and go to another continent, Ronson affirmed. Why? That's not a wise decision, Jiang You asked. I think so too, but this is the fate of Her Highness Alites, the Titan of Nature. Death? That Her Royal Highness Alites is deceased. Yes, Your Excellency Jiang You. However, although Your Highness died in battle, in the last days, she called us, told us a prophecy, and guided us to cross the sea eastward and no longer suffer the pain of war, Ronson explained. In fact, more importantly, they also hide the secret of the resurrection of the natural Titan Alitus, so there is a reason to travel eastward, but there is no need to tell Jiang You about this. The purpose of telling him so much was to dispel Jiang Yu's suspicion and allow them to cross the sea smoothly. They had already lost too many people along the way, and Ronson didn't want to have any more problems at this juncture. Really, after listening to the troll clan leader's description, Jiang You was still surprised by the troll tribe's decision to cross the sea eastward, but he didn't ask too much and nodded. I understand, Sir Ronson. The winged people will not stop you from crossing the sea eastward. Thank you. Jiang You and Ronson asked about the battle between the Titans and the ancient dragons. It was learned that the war between the two clans was very fierce, and it did not stop, but showed signs of getting more intense. Countless lives have died in this war. In the true sense, life has been devastated. Ronson showed lingering fear in his opinion. Even if they did not cross eastwards, their tribe would suffer heavy losses in this war. Jiang You nodded when he heard this. He knew that the final result would be a defeat for both sides, but he didn't know when this peerless battle would end. Judging from the descriptions of the trolls, it is estimated that it will take some years. Afterwards, Jiang You took the people back. In the days that followed, he kept an eye on the troll horde. Just as they said themselves, the Jumu clan is cutting wood and building ships on the edge of the East China Sea, day and night. 1 year later, this tribe of 10,000 trolls, called the Jumu clan, all boarded wooden boats and sailed across the ocean. Chapter 19, A Century of Changes. East China Sea, seaside. The wind is like a swing, the waves are like flowers. Jiang You stood on the beach, looking at the Jumu clan, which had disappeared before leaving. The Jumu clan wanted to borrow some tribesmen from Jiang You as scouts for sailing on the sea, but in fact, if there is no large army, it is undoubtedly more difficult for these scouts to come back than to climb to the sky. However, Jiang You still found some young people in the tribe who were born with an adventurous spirit and asked them about their willingness. In the end, 50 people were willing to cross the ocean with the Jumu clan before leaving, in order to let these young people not forget their roots. Jiang You gave them a surname and put the name of the winged people on them in advance, so these 50 people took Feng as their surname, crossed the ocean, and became a branch of the winged people. In the following years, Jiang You led the tribe to continue to develop on this coastal land. As time went by, under the effect of Titan's blood, the appearance of the tribesmen slowly changed to what Jiang You wanted, and their extraordinary talents also slowly improved. The third 20 years of taking refuge in the East China Sea, the population of the Heaven Mountain tribe has reached 10,000 people. There are nearly 100 extraordinary people at this time. The war in the outside world is also extremely fierce. Occasionally, other races of intelligent creatures who have fled here tell Jiang You about the war. Not only did the Titan giants and Tegu dragons suffer heavy casualties, but half of the Ferland 10,000 tribes disappeared directly. The fourth 20 years of taking refuge in the East China Sea, the population of the Heaven Mountain tribe has reached 30,000 people. The number of extraordinary people has increased to hundreds. Under the guidance of Jiang You, some extraordinary professions exclusive to the winged people have appeared. For example, Sky Knight, Light Swordsman, Light Guardian, Sky Assassin, etc. Almost all of them are extraordinary professions of light attributes. However, Because they are all first-generation creations, the upper limits of these professions are not high, and they are basically the first-level professions. Only the light swordsman has become a light swordsman with an upper limit of the second stage with the help of Jiang You. Jiang You also wanted to pass on his profession, but unfortunately there were no extraordinary awakeners of light and thunder in the tribe, so he had to give up. Fortunately, in this generation of the light swordsman profession, another young man was gifted and advanced to the second level in just 30 years. Maybe he could raise the upper limit of the light swordsman profession in the future. The sixth 20 years of hiding in the East China Sea. Jiang You finally practiced to the final stage of the Holy Wing Walker, one step away from the legend, but he couldn't break through this step at this time. The Cheyenne Tangshan tribe already had 100,000 people. In addition to Cheyenne Tangshan as the residence of the winged people, there were villages and towns built by the winged people on the surrounding mountains of all sizes. At this time almost all the Xinjiang people looked like Jiang You. After 100 years, they finally no longer looked like the eagle people they used to be, and became more like small titans with wings. It was also in this year Jiang You summoned all the tribesmen to Mount Xiantang and officially announced that they had separated from the Eagle clan and established themselves as the Winged clan. At the same time, the latest news from the outside world also reached the East China Sea. The Titan King and the Tegel Dragon King led the last tribesmen to fight the final battle in the Sky Plain, and almost died together after the war. The Titan King and the Ancient Dragon King disappeared, and at this moment in the far north of the Ferland continent, a land of continuous mountains and snow, a team of goblins wearing thick fur clothes rode on dwarf wolves and walked to heavy metal gate. Chapter 20. Humans appear. The leader is one of the three legends of the Goblin clan, the Great Sage Aziba. Great Sage. This is the ruins discovered by the sons, among the goblin cavalry. An exceptionally tall middle-aged goblin knight glanced at the metal gate and said respectfully to an old goblin behind him. This old goblin man wore a bone crown of an unknown creature and held a jasper-like spiritual tree scepter. After hearing the goblin knight's words, the old goblin's green eyes flashed with a burst of blue and white light, as if there was a mystery brewing in it. After a while, he returned to normal from the unknown and mysterious state. In the astonished eyes of the goblin knights, the old goblin jumped down from the dwarf in one step, knelt down in front of the metal gate, and shouted excitedly and feverishly, "God bless our clan! God bless our clan! The prophecy shows that there is something powerful and glorious for our clan in this. Oh, it's not just as simple as being powerful and glorious. If we get the things inside, we and the goblins can replace the status of the titans and the ancient dragons and become the masters of the entire Ferlander." After becoming frenzied, he stepped in front of the middle-aged goblin knight and gave calm instructions. "Azir, I order you to return to the Goblin King's court as quickly as possible, meet with the Goblin King Amagul, and ask him to send the most elite legions and most skilled craftsmen in the clan here. In addition, tell him that this is about the rise of my Goblin clan. It is more important than every situation we have discussed before." "Yes, Great Sage, I promise to pass the information to the king," the middle-aged goblin knight responded with a solemn face, patting his chest and loudly. 1 month later, a goblin army of almost 10,000 people was stationed here. After 3 months, I don't know what method the goblins used, but the metal door was finally opened. A few years later, the people of Ferland suddenly discovered that some intelligent creatures that looked like titans suddenly appeared among the goblins, but they are only 2 meters tall, have average physiques, and don't have a trace of extraordinary aura around them, but they are closely watched by the Goblin clan. They call themselves human race. After that, many things that were difficult for the people of Flanders to understand suddenly appeared in the Goblin clan. Some of these strange creations were so powerful that they could even make the remaining titans and dragons feel threatened. The coast of the East China Sea Paradise Mountain. Inside the largest building on the top of the mountain. This is a gorgeous building made of marble. Since the establishment of the Yingren clan, the handsome Yingren have gradually abandoned their former Yingren habits. They become fond of beautiful things and their requirements for everything become perfect. The building is also average. Inside the building, Jiang You was sitting at the top, with 2 young men and women from the winged race standing beside him. The men came forward to report, "Master Patriarch, we have determined that both the Titan King and the Ancient Dragon Emperor are indeed both in harm's way. The vast majority of titans and dragons died in the battle. In this case, do we still need to implement our escape strategy? According to the information, there are less than 10 titans left in the world, and there are slightly more ancient dragons left, only a dozen. And they are all seriously injured. And the subordinate races that originally belonged to the 2 races began to alienate. There is also more important news. The Goblin clan seems to be quietly contacting all clans." The winged woman also spoke. Hearing this, Jiang You nodded slightly and asked, "So, how is Yingren Wangting doing lately?" The Eagle King was seriously injured in the final battle, but he is still loyal to the seriously injured Thunder Titan. And recently, they repelled the Goblin Messengers. I probably understand that this Goblin clan has a disobedient heart. However, for us, the Titans and the Yingren royal court are both enemies. Yingren Wangting has a blood feud. As for the Titans, Jiang You doesn't think that the Titans will give the Winged clan a good look after they know that he has used the Titan corpses for 100 years. He pondered for a while and then ordered, "The war between the Goblins and the Titans is unlikely to break out in the near future. In this way, Claire, you give me an order, the winged humans will start to lift their escaping strategy from now on, and let the sons and daughters go to the land and sky of Flanders to shine more. We want everyone to know that in the continent of Ferland, there are not only sky-smart races like the Yingren, but also our East Sea winged race. I believe that the Goblin Messenger will come to my heavenly mountain soon." Chapter 21 Contract Signing. 10 years later, the ancient dragons seemed to know some secrets, and they allied themselves and disappeared. The remaining Titans and Goblins were about to see each other's faces. The strongest Titan today, Thunder Titan, once wanted to punish the rebellious Goblins personally, but felt a fatal threat thousands of miles away from the Goblin King's court. Then he gave up. He returned to the Titan ancestral land to help his tribe recover from injuries. Now nearly 10 million goblins on the continent have all gathered around the Goblin King's court and pledged allegiance to the Goblin King Angelic. The Goblin King's court treats the scattered tribesmen differently from the original Eagle King's court. They provide food for the tribesmen, help them choose where to live, and cultivate their extraordinary professionals. As a result, the goblin tribes that were originally scattered on the continent and belonged to different titans returned to their hearts and worshipped Angelic as their king. The Eagle Man court, the Snake Man court, the Mixed Blood Giants, the Centaur court and other races that are still loyal to the Titan giants have stood up and denounced the goblins' disloyalty. But they can't change the fact that the goblins have become stronger. The mysterious human race that appeared in the Goblin Court is even more curious. Smart people have guessed that the rapid growth of the goblins is closely related to these human races. At the same time, the reputation of the winged people on the continent has gradually spread. Intelligent races that can fly in the sky are actually quite rare. In particular, the winged people almost all have the ability of the light system, and they also have the power of healing in their professional system, which is more popular among all races on the continent. Moreover, when they meet in the sky, the winged people are more powerful than the eagle people because their hands are like those of the human race. They can use bows and arrows to hit the eagle people remotely, and this feature also makes the winged archers one of the most powerful arms in Ferland. Even extraordinary professionals will have a headache when facing the organized winged legion. This also made the Goblin King's court notice the importance of the winged man. When the first snowflakes of winter fell on Mount Heaven, the Goblin's messenger arrived as expected. Mount Heaven, a team dressed very fashionably compared to the Ferland continent, climbed to the top of the mountain. In this team, in addition to the short, slender, green-skinned goblins, there is also a human who looks like a winged man without wings. When the winged soldiers led the goblins and voiced to Jiang Yu's tent, the goblin messengers fully demonstrated their qualities as messengers, and the Ferland clan, only the human woman showed enough curiosity about the winged man clan, which was very similar to herself. Looking around along the way, her expression was very rich. Arrived at the white stone castle where Jiang You lived, the goblin messengers first showed the etiquette of treating the king of a foreign race, and had already touched their chests. "Respected king of winged people, we are the messengers sent by our king Angelic, and we pay our sincerest respects to you." Jiang You also stood up, with his white wings folded behind him. His purple eyes first scanned the goblins, and then looked at the human girl standing out among the goblins like a crane among chickens, and said with a smile, "Welcome, messengers from the Goblin King's court." He did welcome them, and at the same time he had some strange feelings. The goblins in front of him were neatly dressed and clean, which was fundamentally different from the goblins that were often seen in the 5th chapter, who could only survive in the wilderness. Seeing Jiang Yu's kind attitude, the goblin messengers felt relieved, and the leading goblin messenger went straight to the point. "The Titans and the ancient dragons have ruled Ferland for thousands of years, enslaving all races and only knowing how to use their powerful military force. They are arrogant and conceited, and have started wars that can destroy the continent, killing countless people of Ferland and turning the sky and the earth into a sea of fire. To this day, all races on the continent are complaining, and their resentment and anger towards the Titans and dragons have reached their peak, and my goblin race, under the leadership of the great sage, the high priest, and the Goblin King, has united all races on the continent and is ready to start an uprising to overthrow the rule of the Titans, according to the wishes of all races. We envoys are willing to represent the goblins and all races of Ferland and form an alliance with the winged people to join us in this great cause. I wonder what the winged people king thinks." After the envoy finished speaking in one breath, he raised his head and looked at Jiang You, expecting his answer. Seeing that the goblin envoy was so direct, Jiang You also spoke directly. "The winged people are willing to form an alliance with the goblin tribes to overthrow the rule of the titans and dragons, but I don't know what benefits the Goblin King Court has promised our winged people. Isn't it the greatest benefit to overthrow the titans and be the master of our own destiny?" The goblin envoy smiled. Jiang You shook his head and said seriously, "The winged people have lived on the coast in the past and have never surrendered to the titans. Now that we have your conditions, what difference does it make whether we join or not?" The goblin envoy was a little depressed, but from his intelligence, the winged people did appear in Ferland in the past 100 years and did not surrender to the titans or dragons. The goblin envoy remembered the great sage's instructions. "The winged people have the best air force in the Ferland continent. We must fight for it," he sighed and said. "Dear winged king, the great sage and the goblin king did promise, if the winged people joined the anti-titan alliance, they can choose any place as their territory after the war. In addition, we are willing to share some magical goblin technology products with the winged people. In addition, there is," the goblin envoy said a lot. Jiang You finally nodded with satisfaction. "Good, please hand over the covenant. Our tribe is willing to sign a covenant with the goblin tribe and fight against the unjust titans together." After the negotiation, both sides were very satisfied, and Jiang You ordered the tribesmen to prepare a night banquet to entertain the goblin delegation. At night the winged people and the goblins ate meat, drank wine, celebrated and danced in front of the grand bonfire. The fiery red flames reflected on the faces of every creature present, and the girls of the winged people stood in front of the huge bonfire singing and dancing. Just when everyone was drunk, the human girl who followed the goblin delegation to Heaven Mountain quietly walked to Jiang You and spoke softly. "Respected king of the winged people, I have a question for you." "Please ask, envoy." "May I ask, king of the winged people, did the ancestors of the winged people also come from the refuge?" If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Promise. What? Shelter. Even though Jiang You was a well-informed and time-traveling person, he was a little confused by the question. He looked at the human girl in front of him hesitantly and said hesitantly, "Why do you say that?" The human girl looked at Jiang Yu's expression, reaction and answers, and suddenly looked disappointed. The shelter is a high-tech creation built by the human race at the end of the previous era to avoid disasters and preserve blood and fire. Although in the endless years, a large number of shelters collapsed, and the remaining humans inside died quietly, but the girl thought that there was some trace of human blood. This was why she decided to follow the goblin messenger to come to the winged people. When she heard about the appearance and characteristics of the winged people, it's a pity that although the king of wings in front of him looks almost the same as the human race, he is not from the human race after all. She shook her head and forced a smile. "It's nothing. Dear King Yiren, I made a mistake." She was about to turn around and leave. In front of her, Jiang You looked at the human girl in front of him, frowned, and then an idea flashed quickly. He coughed softly. "Industry. Steam. Navigation. Airship. Train. Cruise ship." It's like the body is immobilized every time Jiang You said a word. The human girl's eyes lit up when she turned around. She saw Jiang You looking at her gently and said in surprise, "Do you know what it was like in our past? We were indeed members of my tribe, too." Jiang You shook his head. "I am not, or rather, I was a human being. Also, I didn't come out of the shelter, but I awakened the Suhu of my previous life in this winged man." He deliberately blurred the relationship between human race and humans, and what he said was all the truth, but the girl obviously didn't care. She looked at Jiang You blankly, with hope in her beautiful eyes. "Whether you have human blood or not, my eyes and soul tell me that your soul is 100% human. Dear people, if in the future, the descendants of the human race forget everything, please tell them that the human race once had a glorious past. No matter how depressed and humble it is now, they must live on tenaciously and wait for the opportunity to rise. Also, please protect them during special times." Hearing the girl's pessimistic words, a question mark floated on Jiang Yu's forehead. "Is it so difficult for you now? I remember, don't you have a very high status among the goblins?" The beautiful girl with long blonde hair shook her head bitterly. "In our shelter, the powerful sequencers have long since died. and the remaining people are no match for the extraordinary ones of the Goblin clan. We had just woken up when the goblins broke our shelter, and we had no time to use the weapons in the shelter to deal with them. But, your weapons can deal with powerful titans, but they can't deal with the goblins. Jiang You was even more confused. Being able to deal with titans is because the titans have the blood of our human race. They are probably evolved from the creations of our human race a long time ago, so it is miraculous to deal with them. But the goblins are different. They are not weak to us, the human girl explained. So that's it. Jiang You finally understood. The human girl continued. Back to the question just now, everyone seems to think that we have a high status among the goblins, but this is actually all an illusion. Goblins are an extremely selfish race. They admire our civilization, yearn for our past, learn our knowledge, and take over our weapons, but they are afraid of our potential. They control us. The human girl's face showed ridicule. There are hundreds of clan members who have woken up in our shelter, and many children have been born in the past few years. The goblins learned from us but do not allow us to educate our own children. The Goblin King Amagul asked us to make a choice. Should we become an ordinary race in Ferland and survive and multiply on the continent? Or should we be bound to the Goblin clan forever, binding is servitude for generations? How could we be willing to do that? So I chose the former. Jiang You nodded in understanding and sighed. It is conceivable that if this continues, many years later, the human race will become an ordinary weak race on the continent of Ferland, and may even be in danger of extinction at all times. That's true, but as a human race, we would rather start all over again than be slaves. The girl smiled firmly. Then she looked at Jiang You and entrusted her solemnly. In the future, if the human race is in trouble, please lend a helping hand, please. I will. Jiang You nodded. Then, can you tell me your human name? Jiang You, after hearing these two words, the human girl finally showed a relieved smile on her face. So you are from the Oriental race. My name is Christina. The next morning the goblin envoys bid farewell to Jiang You and others and returned to the goblin royal court. Jiang You stood on the top of the mountain and watched them go away. He looked at the back of the human girl, shook his head and sighed. When I was playing games in my previous life, I often heard a lot of news about prehistoric ruins in the game. Historians from all races in Flanders speculated that the last era in Flanders was the era of steampunk. However, they don't know that at that time, the human race was the master of the continent. Come to think of it, if the system hadn't been unable to open, would I have triggered a legendary quest at this time? Chapter 23, Go on an Expedition. 1 year later a goblin messenger hurried to Heaven Mountain and walked into the White Stone Castle. King of the Winged People, please lead your brave winged army to the central part of Ferland when the autumn leaves are about to fall, and rush to the Monjan Plain for an alliance. My king has decided that this year, when the autumn leaves are flying, he will raise the entire tribe's army to resist the rule of the Titan giants. The Titans are unjust, and all tribes will fight against them. After the success, the goblins are willing to share the continent with all tribes. At the top Jiang You sat upright and nodded gently. Messenger, please tell the Goblin King that our winged people will abide by the covenant and rush to the Monjan Plain within the agreed time. The goblin messenger was overjoyed when he heard this, and said excitedly with his chest, may the friendship between the goblins and the winged people last forever. May the friendship between the two tribes last forever. Jiang You nodded with a smile. 3 days later Jiang You summoned the bravest 10,000 adult winged people in the tribe. Hundreds of super professionals with strong combat power gathered in the vast square outside the White Stone Castle. More than 10,000 winged people stood on the square, looking at their chief with respect. Although the outside world called him the king of winged people, he had not yet been crowned as king. The tribesmen had also persuaded him, but Jiang You refused. How dare you claim to be king before the blood feud is avenged? One day, if you can flatten the Shianshan Mountains and destroy the Eagle King's court, I will be crowned king on the ruins of the Eagle King's court. Same Jiang You is still single and met tribesmen who urged him to get married. How can I have a family if the eagles are not destroyed? This blocked the tribesmen's mouths that loved to worry. Standing on the roof of the White Stone Castle Jiang You looked at the more than 10,000 winged people lined up in the square, and a strong sense of pride emerged in his heart. He pressed the bronze sword at his waist and said loudly, many years ago, our ancestors were still a subordinate tribe of the Eagle King's court, struggling to survive in the wilderness. Every 10 years, the Eagle King's court would come to our ancestors' Gaoman mountain and forcibly recruit almost all the young and strong people in the tribe to fight a war that would last for an unknown period of time. Every recruitment means the breakdown of a family, and almost no one can return. The Hanhei forest is where the corpses of my ancestors from Gaoman mountain are buried. flowing with their blood and tears. My father, grandfather, and ancestors all died in that war with no future. The war between the Titans and the ancient dragons exhausted the blood of our ancestors. At this point, Jiang You glanced at the tribesmen with red eyes and high emotions, and continued, when I succeeded the chieftain. There were only more than 200 people in the tribe, all of whom were old, weak, sick and disabled. When I became an adult, I was also recruited to participate in the battlefield that lasted for an unknown period of time. I saw that the Titans showed off their tremendous military power and did not regard us as living beings. I saw that the Eagle King Court treated us as cannon fodder that could be consumed at will, and countless eagles from the tribe were buried on the battlefield. From then on, I realized that the Titans and the Eagle King Court were cannibalistic in nature, so, when the Eagle King Court recruited for the second time, I killed the envoy of the Eagle King Court, led the tribe to the coast of the East China Sea. We have multiplied and grown stronger here. We have gained the opportunity to evolve our bloodline and become a more powerful winged clan. Today, we finally have the power to resist the Titans and the Eagle King Court. My sons, are you willing to follow me to defeat the Titans and flatten the Shianshan Mountains? Yes, yes, defeat the Titans. Flatten the Shianshan Mountains, defeat the Titans. Flatten the Shianshan Mountains, then, let's go. Yes. Chapter 24: The Origin of the Muang Plains Alliance and the Knights. The Ferland continent is vast and has a vast territory from the coast of the East China Sea to the central Monan Plain. It took more than a month for the winged people to fly at a high speed every day, and they barely arrived at the Monan Plain with other allied races. There was no way. In terms of the distance, only the mermaids on the west coast could be compared with the winged people along the way. They did not encounter any obstructions from monsters and other races. Just kidding. The Sky Army, composed of 10,000 winged people, flying in the air, is boundless, like an extremely huge dark cloud advancing forward, extremely terrifying. Not to mention, this winged people corps holds bows, and at a command, thousands of arrows are fired at the same time. Who can stop the terrifying scene? On the way, Jiang You also led the winged people corps to wipe out a lot of blind monsters. This also made him see the combat effectiveness of his own winged people corps, and he was more confident in the next war. Arriving above the Monan Plain, there are already nearly 1 million troops of various tribes on this vast plain. They camped on the plain in groups. Jiang You saw there are tall Tauren wielding heavy stone axes, venting their seemingly endless brute force. In the camp there are short but strong dwarf strongmen, who are holding bronze weapons, and some are even forging. In the camp there are centaurs who come and go like the wind. They are naked at this moment, with braided hair, but they are excellent in archery and are one of the most powerful cavalry in the current Ferland continent. There are also some troll clans who also betrayed the Titans, and their numbers are also large. In today's Ferland, except for the goblins, the troll population is the largest. There are mermaids who are born with water spells. There are not many of them. They came all the way from the west coast to help in the battle. It is said that it is because of the great love between a goblin prince and a mermaid princess. However, Jiang You didn't think that the mermaid princess would fall in love with a goblin prince. There are the goblins' good brothers, the dwarfs. This race is purely here to cheer, but the dwarfs are not weak, and they also have a large number of inherited magic professions. There are ignorant fairies who come to join in the fun. The fairies are divided into several categories according to the elements. The ones who come here are wind fairies, light fairies, and the guardians. A forest fairy. Fairies have a long lifespan, live in the forest, and have extremely strong magic power. In ancient times, before many power systems rose, the fairies were very powerful. Even the goblins didn't want to fend for their actions to join in the fun. The Goblin King Angel directly acquiesced. With a big fairy watching, these little guys should not do anything outrageous. Moreover, this forest fairy is a legendary strongman. There are also the tree people, known as the ancient tanks, with a number of about hundreds, but where they take root, it is like an indestructible wall. In addition, they have been friendly with some trolls for generations. In addition, there are the Warcraft Dwarf Wolf tribe tamed by the goblins, as well as the dog-headed people and wild boars under the command of the ancient dragons, etc. There are also a large number of intelligent races that Jiang You cannot name. And these intelligent races may not be able to pass on their blood to the future, but more of them are the Goblin Army with endless tents. The Goblin Army of this era is an absolute elite division. They are armed with sharp weapons. In just over a decade, 1/10 of these goblins have worn iron weapons and armor. I think this is the contribution of the pre-era human race who walked out of the shelter. Some steam technology steel weapons are also placed outside their tents, with a great momentum to swallow up the mountains and rivers, but these weapons are indeed not weak. Jiang You can feel a lot of places that pose a fatal threat to him. After just a few glances, this made him both envious and jealous, and he could only silently think in his heart, the second chapter is coming soon. This is the era of goblins. My winged people are not strong enough yet, so we have to wait for the future. As far as Jiang You could see, the entire Monan Plains accommodated hundreds of intelligent races. Their forces ranged from tens of thousands, such as the trolls. They were also a large tribe of Ferland, but some of their camps chose the Titans. There were hundreds of fewer, such as the fairies. They sang light songs in the camp, without any tension about the coming war. They seemed to be joining in the fun. Carts of food and supplies were sent from all over by the goblins. When the winged army led by Jiang You came to the sky above the Monan Plains, it was like a vast sea of clouds moving to the sky, blocking the long day. Very conspicuous on the Monan Plains, almost all races saw this huge sky force holding longbows and broadswords hanging from their waists. The winged people have only been on the continent for a dozen years, and many of the continent's races don't know them at this moment. Seeing a huge sky army flying in the sky from afar, they were all a little confused. Didn't they say that the Eagle King court disdains to unite with us to resist their great master, the Thunder Titan giant? Why does this sky army look so much like the Eagle clan? Could it be that their Eagle King is the kind of person who says one thing and does another? At this time, knowledgeable brothers of different races laughed. Your information is too backward. The people flying in the sky now are our allies, the winged people. Although they look very similar to the Eagle clan, they are completely different. My clan leader said that the Eagle clan is nothing compared to the winged clan. I remember he said something before, 1 wing equals 5 eagles, 1 winged clan equals 5 eagles? Wow, it looks like the winged clan can compete with eagles, griffins, two-headed dragons, horned eagles and other sky races for sky supremacy. Anyway, with them, we don't have to worry about enemies from the sky. At this time in the goblin camp, a team of goblin professionals flew up and came to Jiang You. They were wearing armor, carrying swords or chain hammers, and the power of wind was surging on their bodies, dragging them to fly in the sky. Jiang You sensed that this team of goblin professionals had not reached a legendary realm, so they should be a kind of flying superhuman profession, and according to what Jiang You knew, including the Goblin King, most of the goblin superhumans were knights. This team of goblin warriors might be the advanced sky knights of the wind knights among the goblins. It may sound a bit ridiculous in ancient times. The various knight professions developed by the goblins were indeed one of the sources of the knight profession in the future. The 4 types of knights popular in the world, Wind Knight, Earth Knight, Water Knight, and Fire Knight, were created by the goblins. Chapter 25, Once Glorious. Just when several goblin wind knights ascended to the sky to meet Jiang You on the land of Men's Plain, in the center of the goblin camp, a dozen humans were sitting next to a strange and artistic creation made of steel. A middle-aged man with short blonde hair looked at the huge winged army in the sky, with a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. I think back then, the Empire also had an air legion that was 10,000 times more powerful than this winged tribe, also carrying wings and soaring into the sky. The Skywalker Legion, one of the 9 air legions, is more awe-inspiring than these winged people. The beautiful girl with blonde hair rolled her eyes and sighed. Unfortunately, this is all in the past. The Empire has long since perished. What we have to do now is just to let the human race survive on this land again and not become extinct. If that's the case, I'd be so sorry for the sacrifices the Empire has made to protect this world. Indeed, the black-haired human man obviously agreed, and he asked, Fiona, you have come into contact with a winged king in the sky. How is it? Is it possible for you to be our helper? The blonde girl smiled bitterly. That winged king is not that simple. He knows some secrets, but not many. He seems to want me to believe that he is also a person of our time, and was reborn in the winged man through a method called reincarnation. This is really out of the ordinary. Even the strongest wizard in the Empire back then would have been hard-pressed to do such a thing. The young man with the blue hair chuckled. That's true, but I choose to believe that this winged man king seems to want to gain benefits from us. This is a good thing, Fiona. I'm just afraid that he will have no desires beside them, the black-haired old man said. Because of this, he has the possibility to fight for it. The blonde girl smiled. Grandpa Yang, this winged man king claims to be an Eastern human race of that era. During this time, you should find a way to get in touch with him. You girl, you really don't want to be idle. Yang said speechlessly. Okay, I'll go get in touch with him. See what he wants. Well, if I had known earlier, I should have set the awakening time earlier. Now that the goblins are taking advantage of me, it's really unacceptable, the blonde girl sighed. Actually, you can't say that. If the goblins hadn't accidentally broken the secret lock we set up, in another 10,000 years, we might never wake up again. The glory of the Empire will really be annihilated in the long river of time. Look, we once had so many shelters. Which ones still exist today? That's better than letting others manipulate you, the blue-haired man complained accurately. On the sky among the team of goblin knights, the leading goblin knight saluted Jiang You respectfully. Dear Yiren King, my king, Amagul, has prepared a residence and a supply of food and grass for the nobles. Jiang You looked in the direction pointed by the goblin knight, and sure enough he saw a clean and tidy camp next to the goblin camp, with a lot of food, grass and equipment placed on it. He nodded inwardly. It seems that the goblins attach great importance to the winged people, and Amagul is a good person. Seemingly seeing Jiang Yu's expression of satisfaction, the goblin knight continued, Dear Yiren King, when the sun sets today, please come to my king's central tent after you have led the tribe to settle down. My king wants to discuss the specific matters of conquering the titans with the leaders of various tribes. Okay, I will arrive on time, Jiang You agreed. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.